Welcome in, everybody. It is high noon here at Pugs and Company, and that means it's time for the High Noon Stream, the first of two streams that we do every day here on the Radio Misfits podcast and streaming platform. This one, high noon, I'll get back to that in a minute. Then we come back at 9 p.m. tonight for what we call Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. What is high noon? What is the difference between the two? You might be asking yourself, but you're probably not. But if you were, this one is all about topics. It's about trends, current events, all the things that are happening in the world today. If you're seeing it on any of your timelines, if you're spotting it on a headline at a newsstand, they don't have newsstands anymore. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. They still have newsstands. Or if it's just something that, that irritating guy at the office came up to you at the water cooler and said, hey, did you hear about? That's what we cover here. We try to give you everything that you could possibly hear about. No, Adam, not more like 1201. I was, no, I don't need you people with your nitpicking. Oh, you didn't sign on right at noon. Today, I most assuredly did, at least according to the clocks that I have here on my computers. I sat here with my finger hovering over the go button at 11:59, and I'm like, okay. And then boom, the minute it hit 12, I went click, and the show came up. You people, stop it. You're trying to get into my head. Just stop it. The nighttime show, Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk. That's me and Parker. It's more conversational. It's I'm not going to say dumb. It is sometimes dumb. I mean, let's be honest. It's less informative, I guess. More corruptive, maybe, because, we talk about stuff when we give our dumbass opinions on them. Like last night, we talked about lists. We talked about like the best rock bands and the best comedians and, that kind of stuff. And it wasn't even planned. It was just organic. Just organic. The conversation just organically grew into that. I had stuff we were going to talk about, which is how it works most nights on Pillow Talk. So you can join us. We'll have something. We'll have stuff prepared, but then, we just see where it goes. It's more improv. It's more yes and on the Pillow Talk show. This one is more structured. This one is about everything that's trending. Let me jump into the chat room and say hi to everybody. Hi, Jeff. Jeff's here. Adam's here. April's here. Do you work for the city of Plain? Oh, yes. I'm wearing my Plano Public Utilities t-shirt. Shirt. I don't know if you, April, you must not have been listening a couple weeks back when I first debuted this show. Hi, Byron. You're late. Byron. See, how do you like it? On the Pillow Talk show, I went to a Fiesta Market up there in Plano because they've got this like pork, this Mexican pork thing that I like, that pork chops. I don't know, whatever it is. They're delicious. And there is a Fiesta Market in between where I live here and where my son lives up there in the fine burg of Plano. So I like to stop by that Fiesta Market. And right next to the Fiesta Market, there was this thrift store, this like, I don't know what is it. I think it's like some religious thrift store, like, benefiting a church or something. Whatever, doesn't matter. I'm walking into the Fiesta Market and they had all kinds of like really cool looking furniture and stuff out front and a big sign that said, everything's $1. So, hey, that's all you need to tell me. So I walk in and I start thrifting. I start Macklemoreing it up. I'm looking around. I'm looking at stuff. I didn't really buy anything, but what I did see was an entire rack of these. Never before worn. Obviously, the city of Plano ordered way too many of them. They were still in the packaging, and they were all like, they're wrapped in plastic. And they were all hanging on this thing, and there was like 100 of them, and they were all city of Plano utilities operation shirts. They must have gotten a deal, and then they didn't hire a bunch of people, and they were $1. April, $1. So it was. I'm like, hey. And also, as I explained, those who know me know that I have a collection of work shirts. Ironically, because, I do this. I have a collection of work shirts. I like work shirts. I like these kinds of, just to like kick around in and stuff. And as was pointed out to me, I am now at least 70% of the way to being able to perpetrate any number of frauds, crimes, and cons in the city of Plano. I can put this shirt on and I can walk in anybody's backyard in Plano that I want. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing to me. All I need at this point really is a clipboard. If I just have this and a clipboard, people will let me in their house. So I'm not gonna do that. I'm just saying, that's probably the downside of selling like official Plano employee stuff at thrift stores, right? Because people just be like, "Who's that? Who's that in your backyard rooting around?" I don't know. He works for Plano though, because he's got the shirt. No, I don't. No, I don't. All right. So why do you own work shirts? Just fun. Just fun. I don't know. They're fun. They're ironically fun. I don't know. What are you going to do? All right, so let's get into what today is. Today is, it is a Wednesday. It is the 8th day of the month of June, year of our Lord, 2022. Is the 159th day of oh, by the way, April, I didn't mean to be, I hope I wasn't being condescending to you. Thank you for the tip. April gave us a tip yesterday. Thank you, April. Appreciate it. We do solicit tips on this show. You can see down there at the bottom, PayPal, Pugs, Cast, Cash App, Venmo, however you want to help. You can help keep this show going. We have to raise X amount of dollars every month. We didn't do it last month, but that's okay. That's okay. So I have to push one more week. So I'll push this week, and then, I hate doing it, so I'll lay off it for a few weeks until there's like 3 days left in the month, and then I'll be like, please help us. So just trying to get back to even here in the first week of June. So if you can, help us out. If not, that's fine too. It really is fine. I hold no... It's cool. It's cool. But, some people can. Some people are perfectly willing to. And you folks who are perfectly willing to, I appreciate you because you do it and you keep us going every month. And we do these shows for you and for the people who don't pay nothing. But you know who we don't like? We don't like the people who don't share. We don't like the people who don't, just when you see some sort of promotion for the show coming across your timeline and you just go, okay, that's right. I need to remember to listen to that. No, you need to remember to click 1, like, because that helps. And then 2, just retweet. It's the least you can do. It is literally the least you can do is just share it. I was reading an article a couple of months ago, and this isn't just, specific to you fine folks. It is impossible to get this article was about how, the pitfalls of streaming and promotion and podcasts and all that kind of stuff. And it's across the board. You people do not share anything. You just don't. You don't think, I don't know if it's that you don't think in those terms or if it's some sort of ultimate power trip where you're like, this is my endorsement and my endorsement means, I don't know what it is. But, and again, it isn't just you folks. It is us. It is the collective we. It is all of us. We don't do that. And it is so friggin' easy to do. It is so easy. You see it. You bring your cursor over the little thing, the little retweet, and you just click retweet. All you're doing is exposing it to more people. That's how it spreads. It is so hard. It is just like, oh my God, but that's all right. Adam says, I know you don't need my excuse, but I've been don't stop it, Adam. I don't need Adam. You contribute in ways that you're fine. You're all fine. You're all wonderful. Please don't any of you who for whatever reason, it's fun. Oh, God, you guys have no idea how fine it is. Just please, I want you here. I want you hanging out with me every day. It is a reason that I wake up with a jump in my step every day. Trust me, there are so many moving parts to this, but there are some people, there are a number of you who can, and I appreciate that you do. I really do. It is, and you sort of carry that financial burden for the rest of the folks. And ain't nobody getting rich around here. I mean, this is all just so that we can continue to do it without, having to do it in the dark or, having to steal stuff, whatever. Appreciate it. Let's move on. June 8th is the 159th day of the year. There are 206 days until the end of the year. Let's jump into the National Day of Calendar and see what we're celebrating today. I do know one thing. It's National Best Friends Day. I don't know what that means. Let me see here. I was reading an article earlier this morning concerning National Best Friends Day, and you want it, Sally, you do everything. That's Mama Bella. She does everything. You are, don't even get me started with you. Okay. So I was reading this thing about National Best Friends Day, which is today. And do you know that it says that on average, we have 6 best friends throughout the course of our lifetime? And I just thought that is interesting. 6 best friends. Like there are different stages of your life where you would identify a different person as your best friend. And so I had to go back and count that up. And I'm like, yeah. Would you believe that my number currently sits at 4 and I expect to live another 30 years? So over the next 30 years, I should have at least 2 more people that I would undeniably categorize as a best friend. 6 best friends. So today, tell your best friend that you're your best friend. No, don't do that. Or do that. Whatever. I don't care. Have you jumped past your ego? Do you not care? Like if you have someone who's your best friend, tell them they're your best friend. What are you worried about them going? Thanks. Is that like I love you? Is that like when you say I love you and they go, yeah, me too. Or I love you and they say, oh, thank you. Oh man. So you just go up, you tell somebody, hey, you know what? It's Best Friends Day. You're my best friend. And then they're like, yeah, well, you and Scott and Pete, you're my best friend. You're like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean me, Scott, and Pete? Where was Pete when you needed bone marrow? Where was Scott when you got drunk and I had to bail you? Where are those? I don't know. But if you got a best friend, it's National Best Friend Day. And again, you should, because it says on average, we all have 6 best friends throughout the course of our lifetime. Name Your Poison Day. It's Name Your Poison Day. Let's see what this is about. There's only 3 days listed here on the calendar, so we can stop down and check some of these out. National Name Your Poison Day on June 8th places a few options before you and challenges you to choose. In this case, the idiom can be a cautionary one, or it can be your bartender's way of asking you what you want to drink. Name Your Poison Day. Daily National. Okay, so there you go. It's Name Your Poison Day. All right. So I guess why don't we go by the drink thing? You in the chat room, name your April. Oh, well, hold on a second. Time out. April, Pugs, you are my best friend. You're lying to me, April. You're lying to me, April, because I learned that you're Kelly, my former partner's best friend. Kelly and I, look, I'm not going to get into a fight over you. I will not. I will be completely comfortable with whatever it is that you choose. But April, you have to choose right now, me or Kelly. That's it. You can't be best friends with both of us. So we'll move on. It is National Name Your Poison. Actually, you can. You can be best friends with both of us. Because you're a girl. Because I guess it's different. Because she can be your best girlfriend and I can be your best guy friend. We can do that. No, I don't think. No, April says I can have more than one BFF. I don't think you can. And I think that when we abbreviate it to BFF, it takes some of the stature away from, you're my best friend. The BFF, that's too, what you can't even, whatever. I don't know. I'm old. BFF is relatively new. I never in high school went, you're my BFF. It didn't exist. That abbreviation was not a thing yet. So National Name Your Poison Day. Here's what I want. Byron knows. I want everybody in the chat room to tell me what your drink of choice is. I'm your bartender here. Tip me like I'm your bartender. I'm your bartender here. Tell me what your poison is. What's your poison? Byron says it's Tito's, club soda, and lime. Okay, not a vodka guy. Actually, I don't know that I'm a vodka guy. I mean, I've had vodka drinks and I've had whiskey drinks. I've had lager drinks and I guess, what do I drink that has vodka in it? I don't know. My mom's a vodka drink. My mom likes vodka. Ugh. not my thing. All right, my poison. I walk into a bar. I say, "Give me a Miller Lite and a shot of Jameson." Boom. That's it. I'm easy. That's it. I'm not gonna mix them together. The Jameson is so that I can just quickly do that shot and get a little mojo going, and then I hold that beer and drink it for the next hour. Boom. That's how you do it. That's how I do it. All right. I don't really do mixed drinks. Mixed drinks. I think I don't do mixed drinks because I was a bartender. it was like really. And let me tell you, folks, I was a bartender. Just as the whole cocktail scene was coming on. So it was like it was just coming on, which meant that, we weren't mixologists yet. We were still bartenders. And it was always like, what do you want? I saw this drink online. It's got Maduro. And it's like, oh, Jesus. And then you got to go to the book. And it was the early days of the internet. Not the early days, but, basically not like it is today. And so it was just like an internet drink. So it wasn't in any of the books. And you're like, okay, I'm just going to make it in front of you. You tell me what looks right. And then they drink it and they'd go, this doesn't taste right. It's like, well, fuck you. Okay. You just made this drink up. What do you mean it doesn't taste like? You read it online. You've never had it before. So that's why I don't like mixed drinks. I like to make it easy for the bartender. Just give me a beer and a shot. That's it. Boom. We're in, we're out. Here's your tip. Remember me when there's a line of 5 people deep. We'll be friends for life. It's National Upsy Daisy Day. I don't know what that means. Kevin Barber would like a Pouce Cafe. It's his go-to drink. Pouce Cafe, Pouce Cafe, Pouce Cafe. What was that from? Was that? No, you know what? Pouce Cafe was from a movie, but so was Orange Whip, Orange Whip, Orange Whip, Orange Whip. Orange Whip is what John Candy ordered in the Blues Brothers. Remember one of the final scenes of the Blues Brothers where they're playing their big concert and the Illinois State Police have to wait until after the concert to arrest the Blues Brothers. So they all take a table and they start sitting around all in uniform. And the waitress comes up and she's like, what do you want? And John Candy goes, I'll have an Orange Whip, Orange Whip, Orange Whip, Orange Whip. I don't even know what an Orange Whip is, but it sounded good. Really Strange Stories with Martin Short. That's where Pouce Cafe comes from. Let's see here. JBM says, my best friend since we were 13 in junior high school lives in Washington and had just come to spend a week with me in May. That's nice. That's nice. That you're friends with the same person since you're 13. I will say this. There are people who I was very close to at 13, who I still care deeply for, who I hardly see anymore. I don't, but I care about them. You know what I mean? Like there is a connection that I guess is made, but I don't think I could authentically describe us as best friends. Any of them. Probably one or two that I'm thinking of, but you know what I mean? It's that's nice. That's nice, JBM, that you actually have the same friends since you're 13 and that you still spend time together. I don't. E is probably my best friend. E and Aaron. I've got two. I've got E. The two. There's 3 that I really care the most about, and God forbid I leave somebody out now. There's 3 that are really on my Mount Rushmore right now, and that would be my friend Aaron, who I never see, my friend E, who I see all the time, and because he lives just across the yard in the big house. And then there's Ed, who's like a brother to me, who basically I owe everything to. But then I had Gary just a couple of years ago, and Gary passed away, and that's like, shit. It's like, well, there's one that's down. So, that's it. And I'd say the longest standing one in that group is Ed, because I've known Ed at least 20 some odd years, 23, 24, maybe even 25 years. I don't know. I've known Ed that long. Yeah. And there we go. So that's them. That's my holy trinity right now of people who I would consider best friends. And that's in no particular order. So there you go. So we'll move on from that because it is awkward. Now I'm just realizing that it is awkward. And look at me. I do have BFFs. I have BFFs. I have another one who I'm not going to name, who is probably still someone who I would consider a best friend, but I haven't seen him in 15 years. We don't talk. because I think he thinks I went crazy, and I think he went crazy. So, but whatever. He needs bone marrow. I'm there. You gotta. So I don't know. But happy Best Friends Day. Well, what's the last one? What was the last one? National Upsy Daisy Day. That's stupid. No reason for us to deal with that. All right, let's get into the things that occurred on this day in history. We like to do that as a segment. In 793, yeah, we're going all the way back to 793. In seven, don't with your drinks now. Don't stop with your drinks. Okay, it's like 5 minutes later. I tried to talk for the 30 seconds of the delay, and now it's like, what, I'm supposed to go back now? All right, fine. Leslie says she likes gin and tonic with lime. Gin is like rocket fuel. I can't. I can't do gin. Anyway, on this day in 793, Vikings raid the abbey at Lindisfarne in Northumbria, commonly accepted as the beginning of the Norse activity in the British Isles. Now, on this day in 793, this is the day that Ragnar kidnapped Athelstan and made him his slave, who would soon become his friend, who would soon become his best friend, who would convert Ragnar and many of the Vikings to Christianity. Now, I know none of this is actual history. This is the plot line to the history television show Vikings, which is so good. So good. But that's why I mention it, because it was on this day. The Viking raid of the abbey at Lindisfarne in Northumbria is documented. Although then they get a little bit, fictional with the way shit played out, But whatever. That's on this day in 793. In 1949, Helen Keller, Dorothy Parker, Danny Kaye, Frederick March, John Garfield, Paul Muni, and Edward G. Robinson are named in an FBI report as Communist Party members. Oh, stop it. Stop it. Helen Keller is a Communist Party member. Okay. Here's what we learned from this. People were dickheads always. People aren't just dickheads now. There's a lot of dickheads now. And the dickhead vibe is being amplified because there are ways to express your dickheadedness now that didn't exist just a few years ago. But this is proof. Naming Helen Keller as a communist, that means the FBI has been filled with dickheads since its inception. 1966, on this day, the National Football League and the American Football League announced a merger effective in 1970. There you go. That was the birth of the consolidated AFC, NFC, creating the NFL or the AFL and the of today, whatever you want to call it. There you go. And one of the primary dudes responsible lives about 5 houses down. That's right, the Hunt family of Hunt Oil. The Hunt family lived right down the end of the block here. And it was the Hunts and was it Howard? Not Howard Hunt. That's Watergate. I don't know. I always forget his name. Whatever. It's the Hunt Trophy. The winner of the AFC wins the Hunt Trophy. On this day in 1968, James Earl Ray, the man who assassinated Martin Luther King, is arrested at London Heathrow Airport. This was interesting to me when I read it because I have been to the National Civil Rights Museum there in Memphis, and it's not like, oh, you're so morally superior. You made a trip to the National Civil Rights. No, I didn't. I was just driving between Chicago and Dallas, and I booked a hotel on hotels.com that happened to have been right across the street from it. So me and my kid were like, hey, look, there's a cool museum across the street. Let's go check it out. And it was cool. It was awesome. It was one of the best days, but one of the most educational and interesting days that I'd spent with my kid. He was all into it. And the Lorraine Hotel, which is, or motel, I suppose, because it was a motor lodge. The Lorraine Motel is the place where Martin Luther King was killed. He stepped out onto the balcony in front of his room, and he was killed by James Earl Ray, who was in a boarding house. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's as sketchy as the Lee Harvey Oswald shot that he took from the book depository, but it's a good shot. It's a good shot. It's like basically across 2 streets. It's like half a block away. It's not an easy shot. So we learned all about that day, and we learned all about the events of that day. But you know what I didn't know until I didn't know that James Earl Ray got away. I didn't know that he got all the way to London when he was arrested. And that happened on this day in 1968. The man who assassinated Martin Luther King, is arrested at London Heathrow Airport. I've been to London Heathrow Airport, and I can tell you that it's the scariest airport I've ever been to. It's the first airport that I had ever been to where every 10 yards is another They don't have guns in England. Oh, yeah, they do. At the airport, they do. It's like a dude with a machine gun, like every 50. I'm sure the airport in Israel is scarier, but I ain't been there. I've only been to Heathrow. Dudes walking around with dogs everywhere. It was very, very secure, very, very militarized, I thought. All right, let's say in 1984, homosexuality is decriminalized in Australia. So that's good. I guess, before 1984, it must have been tough for guys like Boy George to tour, 1984, it was illegal to be homosexual in Australia. Who else was down there? Who's a famous gay Australian? I don't know. I could just start randomly naming Australians, and maybe they are, but that's probably not true. In 1995, on this day, downed U.S. Air Force pilot Scott O'Grady. Captain Scott O'Grady is rescued by U.S. Marines in Bosnia. Do you remember this? This was remember the Bosnian War? There was there was a time in our nation's history between like the end of Vietnam and like the early 90s where we were we hadn't had like good war, and television really wanted a war, so they started amplifying these, which were legitimately just, interventions. They weren't wars. They weren't all out wars. We had Grenada, right? The Iraq one, I guess, right? Operation Desert Storm. That was legit, although that was short lived. But then we had Bosnia in the mid 90s, where I couldn't even tell. I don't remember what the deal is with that. Something about Muslims and Christians. Oh, isn't that always the case? Religion, something about religion going on over there. And I remember this pilot. I remember he was on the cover of Time magazine, and there was a picture of him. He was like hiding, and he was all dirty and all that stuff. Anyway, that was on this day. On this day in 1995, downed U.S. Air Force pilot Captain Scott O'Grady is rescued by U.S. Marines in Bosnia. He wasn't being held. He was just out there, like in the wilds, if you will. All right, let's talk about some births. We've got some births to celebrate today. We're going to take a minute here. We're going to celebrate this one. Born on this day in 1921, a true icon of Dallas-Fort Worth. This is a guy who I learned all about. I'm a radio geek, right? So like I love like all the history of radio and broadcasting and media in America and all that kind of stuff. And when I moved here to Dallas, I didn't really know anything about, but I did know one name. Actually, I knew two names. When I moved to Dallas, I knew who Kid Craddock was, and I knew who Gordon McClendon was. Gordon McClendon celebrating a birthday, born on this day in 1921. Now, who was Gordon McClendon? Gordon McClendon is widely considered to be 1, 2, or 3. Again, we've got another one of these lists where there's just like, you can debate the top 3. 1, 2, or 3 most important person in the history of American radio. Just a guy, and here in Dallas. Famously for the local people, Gordon McClendon started KLIF, Cliff Radio, which is still, although what a piece of shit station that is today. He started KLIF in his garage with his dad in Oak Cliff, in their house in Oak Cliff, just a little radio station that for a period of time became one of the most powerful and influential radio stations in America. But he did a whole bunch of stuff here. Gordon Barton McClendon was a radio broadcaster nicknamed the Maverick of Radio. McClendon is widely credited for perfecting, during the 1950s and 60s, the commercially successful top 40 radio format. He also developed offshore pirate radio stations in Scandinavia and the British Isles. In addition, he was active in circles of business, political power in the 1960s, all the way up until the time of his death. Let's see here. Let me get... McClendon and his father founded radio station KLIF, the Mighty 1190 in Oak Cliff, Dallas, in 1947, and introduced the top 40 format there in the early 1950s to great success. KLIF enjoyed a long run at the top of the Dallas radio ratings in the 50s and 60s, but its standing in the market fell in the early 70s thanks to growing competition from FM radio. One of the FM stations most instrumental in the downfall of KLIF was its former sister station, KNUS, now K-Love. That's right, it's now K-Love, of which McClendon retained ownership after selling Cliff to be revamped as a rock-oriented top 40. The McClendon family built a communications empire that included radio stations across the United States. In addition to KLIF, McClendon owned KNUS, K-Love, in Dallas, KOST in Los Angeles. That's a big one. Where did I lose it? In Los Angeles, WYNR or later WNUS in Chicago. That became something else. I don't know what that is. Stations in Detroit, Shreveport. He had an empire. The dude had an empire. He also, in addition to perfecting top 40 radio, he invented beautiful music. You know the beautiful music format? That was him. He is credited by most broadcast historians with having established the first mobile news units in American radio. Radio news. This guy was like the guy who said, we can cover shit faster than everybody else. He did the first traffic reports, the first jingles. This guy, there were no jingles on radio until this guy. So there you go. Gordon McClendon, probably without a doubt, the most important person in Dallas media history, but also very important nationally speaking. So Gordon McClendon, born on this day in 1921, died in 1986. Okay. Also born on this day in 1925, Barbara Bush. I was going to say another Texan, but I don't know. Is she a Texan? Where's Barbara Bush from? Where was she born and raised? She seems East Coast to me. You know, she seems very, comes from some Connecticut family. I don't know. Let's see where she was born. She's born in Manhattan, New York City. All right. She met George Herbert Walker Bush, President Bush, at 16, and the two married in Rye, New York in 1945. Barbara Pierce was born on June 8th, 1925 at Booth Memorial Hospital, which at the time was, I don't care where it was located. She was born to Pauline Pierce and Marvin Pierce. All right. She came from a fancy family because her dad's got a Wikipedia page. Her dad's got a Wikipedia link. She was raised in the suburban town of Rye, New York. Her father was president of McCall Corporation, the publisher of the popular women's magazine Red Book and McCall's. All right, so she's important. I like Barbara Bush. Old cotton top. She had that old lady cotton top haircut. She died in 2018. Born on this day in 1927, Jerry Stiller, father of Ben Stiller, wife of Annie Mara, husband of Annie Mara. He was Frank Costanza. He was really funny. American actor, comedian, and producer. He died in 2020. 2 years ago, Jerry Stiller died. Born on this day in 1933, Joan Rivers, American comedian, actress, and television host. Joan Rivers died in 2014, but born on this day in 1933. Quick little note on Joan Rivers that has absolutely nothing to do with Joan Rivers. So, what am I waiting for? Oh, I'm waiting to get my kid back. I get my kid back this weekend, and so, you know, if you have Amazon Prime, The Boys, which is such a great series on Amazon Prime, The Boys is back. The Boys television series is back. And because it's a hot show and people like it, Amazon has decided they're just going to roll out one episode a week instead of just giving you the whole season to binge. So when I learned that, I decided, you know what, my kid, my 13-year-old son, we need to watch The Boys. He needs to get into The Boys. Now, what is The Boys? Boys, quickly, it's a superhero themed thing. It's kind of like the Avengers, right? Except for they're all bad people. They're all like all the superheroes. It exists in a world where superheroes are real. So superheroes kind of they go out to clubs and they, you know, date rape girls and stuff like that. But they also go out and they save people. But as it turns out, they're really just corporate stooges who work for this bank. Anyway, The Boys are a group of vigilantes who go around killing the superheroes. Not killing, but hunting and basically holding them accountable for all of the residual damage that they cause. Like when you see like a superhero fighting a space alien in Manhattan and he throws the space alien into a building and the side of the building collapses. Well, how many office workers were killed? because that superhero decided to throw, right? So the boys are a group of vigilantes who are fed up with these superheroes just, killing people by accident. And so they hold them responsible. Anyway, it's a great show. So I can't watch The Boys. I have to wait. My son and I have started to re-binge the whole series of The Boys from episode 1, season 1. And we've only got to like episode 5 of season 1. And then he goes away for a week. He's on vacation. So when he comes back, we have to start watching again. So I don't have anything to watch. So speaking of Joan Rivers' birthday, I started to rewatch and get caught up on Hacks on HBO Max. Do you guys know Hacks on HBO Max? What an amazing show that is. It is just every time I hover over it and I'm like, do I want to click it? And then for some reason I have this thought in my head like, this ain't a show for you. You don't want to see that. And then I click it and in 5 minutes in, I'm like, God, this is a great show. Hacks is a story of a Joan Rivers type female comedian who has been famous for 40 years, and she is now in the elder stages of her career, and she's seeing her popularity decline. She's seeing the state of modern humor changing. Her stuff seems very dated, and many of the young comedians consider her act at this point to be hacky, and that's why it's called Hacks, because it's Jean Smart, the national treasure. Jean Smart plays this main character, this Joan Rivers based character who's got a residency in Las Vegas, and she's super rich, and she goes on the Home Shopping Network, all the things that Joan Rivers did. But she decides that she's going to try and become relevant in comedy circles, and she's going to try and do modern comedy. So she hires this young alternative female comic to sort of be her writer. And the show Hacks is about the relationship between this old comedian who's funny as hell. Jean Smart is funny as hell, playing not necessarily her stand-up routines, but funny the way she's depicted in her everyday life. How she's vain and she's self-centered. Well, I guess they're the same thing. She's mean. She's unnecessarily cruel to people just because she enjoys it, because she enjoys her power. And the young writer who works for her, they have this sort of adversarial relationship because the young writer always calls her a hack and says, you're better than this. You do my jokes. Your jokes suck. That whole thing. It's so good. It is so good. And there you go. It's Joan Rivers' birthday. And that show was originally created. I want to say that Joan Rivers was supposed to be in it, but then there was some like health, whatever it was. It was originally created with the help of Joan Rivers and Joan Rivers' family. They were involved in it in the very early stages, and then Joan Rivers died, and it went forward as what it is. But it is really, really good. Oh, and the girl. Here's interesting. The girl who plays the young writer, the young comedian who is hired to sort of punch up Jean Smart's act, is really good. And I don't know her name. I can't think of her actual Hannah Einbinder. I don't know where that came from. Her name is Hannah Einbinder. She is really, really good. And also, fun fact, if you're looking at her and you're watching the way she's acting in this thing and you go, God, she reminds me of somebody, it's because she's Lorraine Newman's daughter. You remember Lorraine Newman, one of the original Saturday Night Live people? She's Lorraine Newman's daughter. And once you know that, you can't not see it. You're like, oh my God, that's who it is. She's Lorraine Newman. She's like if Lorraine Newman was 25 years old in 2022. That is exactly who she is. So there you go. Happy birthday, Joan Rivers. Died on this day in 2014. All right, now we're going to get into a run of what we'll call one-hit wonders, and then maybe a couple not-so one-hit wonders. Born on this day in 1940, Nancy Sinatra, American singer and actress. Those boots were made for walking. Hey, how'd she get her break? How did she get a song on the chart? How did Nancy Sinatra go from not being famous to suddenly be? I guess she was always famous because, of course, she's Frank Sinatra's daughter. She said, Daddy, I want to be a pop star. That's fine, baby. Swing. It's that. Some people have it that easy. So Nancy Sinatra, there you go. And isn't there there's another Sinatra daughter. There's Nancy Sinatra, and then there's another one. And I'm not even certain, as I sit here, that Nancy Sinatra is these boots are made for walking. It might be the other one. I don't know. One of them was on The Sopranos. as herself, like as Nancy Sinatra. I think it was Nancy Sinatra who was on The Sopranos. I don't know. Happy birthday, Nancy Sinatra. You got like one hit, and your dad probably is the reason that hit got played. Ed would like to suggest Gaslit. Oh, really? You're going to suggest Gaslit? I love Gaslit. Gaslit is awesome. Thank you, Ed. Gaslit is Julia Roberts and Sean Penn, an unrecognizable Sean Penn. I watched 3 episodes not knowing it was Sean Penn. I watched 3 episodes of this going, I thought Sean Penn was in this. And then I'm like, holy shit. Sean Penn is playing Nixon Attorney General Mitchell, John Mitchell. I had no idea that was him. Gaslit is great. Gaslit is really fun. And also, if you like Legion, which I love the FX show Legion, the star of it, the guy who plays John Dean. Gaslit is about the Watergate scandal, but it's done kind of funny. It's done it's not a comedy, but it's played for the absurdity of it all. It is really good. The guy from Dan, can't think of his name. I gave you Hannah Einbinder. I gave you that. I'm not going to give you the Dan guy who plays John Dean in Gaslit, but he's so good. He's so good. It's so good. Gaslit is very, very good. So thank you, Ed. And Jeff Glenn agrees. Jeff Glenn agrees that Gaslit is great. By the way, about Gaslit, at the next Primetime Emmy Awards, Julia Roberts better bring a wheelbarrow because Julia Roberts is going to win every award. She plays Martha Mitchell. She's the star of it. It's her and Sean Penn as Martha Mitchell and John Mitchell, the Attorney General and the Attorney General's outspoken wife during the... she is so good. Julia Roberts is really great in this. Okay, moving on. Nancy Sinatra celebrating a birthday today. And as I promised, a string of one-hit wonders. Born on this day in 1944, Boz Scaggs. Boz Scaggs, American singer, songwriter, and guitarist. Boz Scaggs, I want to say, is he a Texan? He might be. Well, he was originally tied in with Steve Miller, the Steve Miller Band. And Steve Miller is a Texan. Steve Miller, proud St. Mark's graduate. So I don't know. Is Bob Scaggs? Bob. Bob, I'm going to see Bob Scaggs. Who's that? Boz Scaggs' cousin. He does a tribute. Oh, man, if you wanted to do a tribute, that would be funny. If you were a Boz Scaggs tribute act, just call yourself Bob Scaggs. Origin, Plano, Texas. Boz Scaggs, Plano, Texas. That's right. Let's see what his early life was. Scaggs was born in Canton, Ohio, the eldest child of a traveling salesman. Their family moved to McAlester, Oklahoma, and then settled in Plano, Texas, just north of Dallas. He attended Dallas private school, St. Mark's School of Texas. After learning guitar at the age of 12, Scaggs met Steve Miller. I like Steve Miller. Underrated. Steve Miller, very underrated. So there you go. Yeah, so Boz Scaggs. Boz Scaggs is celebrating a birthday today. He is a one-hit wonder because I can only name the Lido Shuffle. That's it. That's the only Boz Scaggs song, and that's a banger. That is a timeless banger. You know how I know that? Because my kid heard it. My kid, just by happenstance, my kid heard that song and when he was like 11 years old, and it was stuck in his head for days. So much so that we had to put it on our Spotify playlist, and he's just like, oh, and now we have a dog that's around us called CeeLo. So my kid always sings a CeeLo. Whoa, CeeLo's a dog with one blue eye, the other's brown. I don't know why. He makes up songs. We sing the CeeLo Shuffle. Well, he does. He does, because he's a little music nerd, and that's kind of cool. He's equal parts music nerd and total meathead, and straight A student. We're taking him out to dinner. He says, what do you want for what do you want? What's your okay? So you get a gift for straight A's because he gets straight A's. I go, you get a gift for straight A's. That was great. What do you want to do? You want to go out to a nice celebratory dinner? He says, you never take me out to dinner. I'm like, oh. Okay, whatever. We go to Chipotle, and sometimes we sit down inside the Chipotle. What do you mean we never go out to dinner? So we got to take them to dinner. We're gonna this weekend. We'll go to a nice dinner. We'll go anywhere this weekend that has air conditioning. More on that coming up. Boz Scaggs, Lido Shuffle. There you go. So you have Nancy Sinatra, kind of a one-hit wonder. Boz Scaggs, a one-hit wonder? Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything else. So, from my perspective. And born on this day in 1951, another one-hit wonder. Bonnie Tyler. Turn around, bright eyes. I don't know. Did Bonnie Tyler have other hits? I don't know. What? A total eclipse of the heart. 1940, Nancy Sinatra. 1944, Boz Scaggs. 1951, Bonnie Tyler. 3 one-hit wonders. Born on this day in 1960. I don't know if he's a one-hit wonder. Mick Hucknall. Mick Hucknall, born on this day in 1960. Or, as you may know him, Simply Red. Simply holding back the year. Is that a Simply Red song or is that a Rick Astley song? They're like the same person to me. So actually not anymore because Rick Astley has been embraced by younger generations because of the internet prank of Rick rolling somebody, which again, my 13-year-old kid thinks Rick rolling somebody is the height of modern comedy. What is Rick roll? Well, you know what Rick rolling is, but just on the off chance that you don't, it's where, you sit down to watch a video it's a video. It's like, watch this incredible video of this rescue at sea. And you're like, oh, I want to see this, I don't know, dog get rescued at sea. So you click the video and you're like, oh, look at this. Look at that poor dog. And then just before the payoff, they drop in a Rick Astley cut. It's like, never gonna give you up. And you go, oh, I got Rick rolled. My kid thinks that's hysterical. And I make almost no distinction between Simply Red, Mick Hucknall, and Rick Astley, other than there is no Mick rolled. Although there could be. Why shouldn't there be? Let's take back the power, older generation. Let's create Mick rolls. Mick Hucknall, born on this day in 1960. Also celebrating a birthday today, certainly not a one-hit wonder. Kanye West, born on this day in 1977. Kanye West. Kanye West, provocateur. I have made my feelings on Kanye West known. I think he's a musical genius. I think that Kanye West's music is some of the best music that has been produced in the last 20 years. He is great. Crazy as a bag of rabbit animals, but he is undeniable. But what, Prince wasn't crazy? Michael Jackson wasn't crazy? Come on. It kind of goes with the territory. Kanye West celebrating a birthday today. The other thing about Kanye West that I always find really interesting is that he comes from a good family. Kanye West is from the south side of Chicago, but he was not raised on the streets. He went to a private, super smart kids school in Oak Lawn, a school that is so elite and so exclusive that I grew up a mere miles from Oak Lawn. I grew up like 2 towns over from Oak Lawn, and my high school played all of the Oak Lawn schools in sports and all of that kind of stuff. So exclusive was the high school that Kanye West attended. I had never heard of it before. I had never in my life heard of this private, elitist, super smart kid magnet school that took like the smartest kids from all over the area and put them there. That's where Kanye West went. His mom wasn't his mom like a doctor or a professor or something like that at Chicago State? I think she was like a professor. So it's not like, Kanye West is, well, he comes from the streets, man. He comes from street adjacent. He could probably drive around his neighborhood and see some stuff, but that's not what was really going on in his upbringing. Deaths. Okay, so there's not a whole lot of like deaths that I thought were worth mentioning here, but here's one that I wanted to mention because I cannot believe it has been 4 years. Anthony Bourdain died on this day in 2018. Man, that one shook me. I'll never forget where I never forget where I was when I learned that Anthony. I had woken up and I was driving to this place, the Rage Agency, or a place where I used to do my work. So I got up, got in the car, turned on the radio, and the first thing I heard was that Anthony Bourdain had killed himself. Oh my God. And I got to be honest, this was at a time in my life when killing myself was pretty much the first thing that I'd think of when I wake up in the morning. I'd be like, am I going to kill myself today? Is this the day? I mean, I wouldn't. Look, everyone knows I have depression. I control it. And I have a mother who I couldn't do that to. And I have a son who I couldn't do that to. So I am resigned to the fact that I will suffer through my depression until, I'm clear of both those people. And quite frankly, that's going to be a long, long time. So there is no real concern. But when Anthony Bourdain falls into the category of the Robin Williams and the Chris Cornells. When Robin Williams decided to end his life, it was shocking because it's like, my God, I mean, what could the worst day for Robin Williams be like? He has no money problems. He is adored by people around the globe. He can walk in anywhere and people will just immediately light up. The positivity, the kindness, the just seeming human decency that came from that guy. How could he do this? And then you got Chris Cornell from Soundgarden, right? It's like, this guy is a rock star. He's cool. He's thoughtful. He's a truly gifted artist. He's probably the most beautiful voice in rock history. Shut up, you Freddie Mercury apologists. Chris Cornell, I think, has the best voice. Go to YouTube and just listen. Chris Cornell voice without the music, where you hear him singing without the music. They strip the music away from his tracks, and it's just oh my God, can Chris Cornell sing? He had a supermodel wife. They seemed to be wildly in love. He had beautiful children. He had had a career resurgence. He had just played a big concert in New York City. And he went back to his hotel room after 10,000 adoring fans were screaming for more, and he ended his life. And then Anthony Bourdain was the guy who basically everybody else in the world went, how the fuck do I get that life? How did Anthony Bourdain get this life? Super cool, again, super thoughtful, again, seemingly adored by everybody. And not only that, Anthony Bourdain was adored by, in my estimation, the right people. You know what I mean? Like the coolest people out there, the most interesting, the most genuinely impressive people out there are the ones who were Anthony Bourdain fans. They were the ones. So when he killed himself, I remember thinking, holy shit, is depression an insidious disease? This guy had the life that everybody else wanted. This guy did, you know what his life was? He made millions of dollars for traveling around to the most fascinating places on the globe and hanging out with whoever the most interesting people are in that particular part of the globe. That was his job. His job was to go out to dinner with really interesting people and have fascinating conversations and drink and celebrate and live life to the fullest. And this guy went back to his hotel room and killed himself? Oh my God. That was on this day in 2018, Anthony Bourdain. Michael says Anthony Bourdain one was tough. Happened on a Friday morning. Yeah, it did. It was a Friday morning. Al says, if you haven't seen the documentary on what Robin Williams went through, you need to see it. Great documentary. I did. I saw enough of it. A lot of it just got a little bit too depressing. Robin Williams' story is really sad, was living with Lewy body dementia, which sounds like torture. Yeah, Robin Williams had some other things. But Jeff is right. Jeff is right. Didn't Robin Williams have some kind of bad diagnosis? There are people who are now saying, and other doctors are saying, he didn't have Lewy body. That was put out there as sort of a camouflage for try to give people an explanation as to why Robin Williams, who again was this amazingly kind, generous, sweet, beloved, talented individual, would just kill himself. So I don't know what the real actual final report is on that, but there was some discussion as to whether or not he actually had this disease that was put out. So there you go. All right. But we don't need to do that because we've got nothing but good things to live for. Like, let's get into what's trending. How about this? Are you living for tomorrow night? I'm not really living for tomorrow night, but you better believe I'm going to watch it. I'm trying to figure out, should we do a live stream? The January 6th television mega presentation is going to happen tomorrow night in prime time. Everybody is covering it except for the people who are going to be named in it. Fox News is not covering it. Everybody else is covering it live. Fox News is not going to cover it live because the expectation is that Fox News is not going to come off looking really good as far as their role in ginning up the idiots. So I'm trying to think, should we watch it live? Like, should we do a watch party? And how would that work with the delay? And will you people joining me for the stream? Will you people be seeing things 5 seconds before me? Will I be seeing things before? So I'm not entirely sure. I got to try and figure that out. There is a good chance, depending on how long this thing goes, that tomorrow's Pillow Talk show with me and Parker will be delayed. I don't know if there will be a Pillow Talk with Pugs and Parker tomorrow night. There may be me doing a solo, after it, talking about it. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to. We'll leave it at that. I don't know that we will be. Hold on. And which channel? What do you mean? All I got from Kevin is and which channel? Oh, you mean, yeah, and which channel should we be watching? Well, I'm thinking that it's going to be a consistent stream, that all of the networks that are airing it will be airing the exact same. It's the commentary. It's the before and the after commentary that wouldn't match up, but the actual meat of what we'll be seeing should be consistent on all the platforms that are showing it. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. But yeah, I don't know. It's a work in progress whether or not we'll be doing a Pillow Talk tomorrow night or whether I'll just be doing something, or who knows, maybe not. Work in progress. We'll have to figure that out. I do know this. Don't want to get into it with Parker. Do not want to get into it. I want to watch it and I want to have my own raw opinion of seeing it. And James Parker, I take this particular situation very seriously. And I also take people who do not take it seriously very seriously, because that's a real problem. I know what I saw. I watched the fucking thing unfold on television, live, raw. I know what I saw, okay? I didn't see a bunch of tourists. I know what I saw. And now I want to see how it's presented and, all of the stuff that was behind it. So I don't want to get into any conversations with people who's honestly, I know what I saw. And I think you all know what you saw too. And if you saw something that is different from what I saw with my own eyes, then you're trying to bring it back to the great Julia Roberts show. You're trying to gaslight me. Or you are being incredibly intellectually disingenuous. And that's dangerous. So that's going to happen tomorrow. How TV News is covering the January 6th committee report on the Capitol attack. That's what is trending, January 6th. So here's what we got. TV News shakes up schedules to cover January 6th committee report on the Capitol. One of the most consequential events in recent television history and in recent U.S. history is set to be dissected on Thursday night during TV's prime time. Journalists slated to cover it will have to hope America sees the broadcast as something other than entertainment. It ain't entertainment. On Thursday night, major broadcast networks and cable news outlets are slated to shake up their evening programming grid to show what is expected to be a shocking report from the U.S. House Select Committee, which has spent months investigating the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol and what many believe may be coordinated efforts behind it. Politicians are known to get into the weeds of their findings to try to make a political point by attacking the other side and to focus over much on the wonky inner workings of U.S. bureaucracy than they are examining bigger themes. Thursday's presentation, which may point to U.S. government officials at the time as bearing some responsibility for the attacks, is expected to defy those expectations. Yeah, so this isn't going to be like watching a C-SPAN hearing play out on cable, right? So this is expected to be more packaged and I don't know what. Let's be honest, dumbed down so that the average person who doesn't even know what channel C-SPAN is on their cable, and I don't watch C-SPAN, but the average person who cannot sit through that kind of thing will get some sort of idea of what this is. CBS News' Robert Costa expects the committee to make its point in no uncertain terms. It's going to be a very video-oriented thing. It's going to be very video-oriented, at least at the start, with different cuts of the attack itself, new photos and new videos from that day that have not yet been seen by the American public. Interspersed with the video will be anecdotes and pictures of depositions where you have some live video of witnesses from previous interviews, some live witnesses, some of whom have not been heard from yet. It should be intriguing to see if they can grab the nation's attention. TV news outlets will certainly make a significant effort. CBS News' Nora O'Donnell, ABC News' David Muir, and NBC News' Lester Holt typically hold forth at 5:30 p.m. on most weekdays to deliver the traditional evening news. However, on Thursday, all three will anchor special primetime reports built around the committee's presentation. NBC has already lined up a good portion of its Washington staff, including Chuck Todd, Haley Jackson, Kristen Welker, and Garrett Haake, H-A-A-K-E. I don't watch NBC News. CBS News and NBC News also have plans to cover the events via their streaming video. The cable news networks are also deploying different crews. CNN has enlisted Jake Tapper and Anderson Cooper to anchor special coverage that starts at 7 p.m. from Washington, D.C., with Dandy Don Lemon picking up anchoring duties at 11 p.m. MSNBC, meanwhile, will rely on Rachel Maddow, Nicole Wallace, and Joy Reid. Oh, Joy Reid. Why not just bring Al Sharpton in, right? Why not just bring... Oh my God. I do like Rachel Maddow and Nicole Wallace though. I like them. Joy Reid is such a troublemaker. So I won't be watching that. They'll be doing that at 7:00, and Stephanie Ruhle, who I also like, Stephanie Ruhle will be picking up the duties at 10 p.m. Fox News is trying a very different tactic. Of course they are. The bulk of its direct coverage of the report will turn up in primetime on Fox Business Network, where Bret Baier and Martha MacCallum will hold the real news people. The real news people are going to be covering it over on Fox Business. Bret Baier and Martha MacCallum will hold forth starting at 8 p.m. On the Fox News channel, the network's regular primetime hosts will lead their programs as usual. Shannon Bream will lead a news show on Fox News at 11 p.m., joined by Baier and MacCallum, preempting the network's late-night program, Gutfield. All right, so Gutfield's getting gutted tomorrow night. That's the only change to the Fox News. Coverage from Fox News and CNN will also be available via their streaming services without required viewers without requiring viewers to prove that they are cable subscribers. So if you, you know how like if you want to watch CNN, but you don't have like a cable subscription or something, you only get to watch it for 10 minutes and then it times out and then it goes away. Tomorrow night, you will be able to watch the entire coverage of this stuff, whether you have a cable subscription or not. CNN and Fox are going to be putting it up free of charge. It's easy to think of the whole thing as a pot boiler drama, something that might entertain as easily as an hour of Law and Order, but there's so much more at stake, says Costa of CBS, who hopes viewers will give the proceedings more attention than they might normally during a weeknight. This is deadly serious. This is American democracy. This story deserves more attention. It's a primetime story, but it's not a one and done special movie. This is real life. This is democracy under the microscope. All right, so there you have it. So that's tomorrow, and that's why that's trending. And I'm definitely interested in seeing what they got. I've been pissed for months that this has all been going on behind closed doors, and that we've only been receiving trickles of information regarding what the committee has been finding out. I mean, they've been talking to I don't look, if you watch Fox News or OAM, you have no idea who they've been talking to. You don't. I can't wait to hear what Kushner says. I can't wait to hear what Ivanka says. All of these people have given statements. All of these people are expected to say things that people are going to go, oh, like for instance, the Kushners, Ivanka and Jared, the night of the election, they began making their plans to move to Miami. They knew that it wasn't going their way. They knew that it wasn't fixed. And they knew Jared Kushner, who had been Trump's number one advisor for most of his presidency, refused to have any part of the whole election steal, election lie thing, because he knew that that was all concocted and that was all bullshit. And so did Ivanka. Or is it Ivana? Which one's the mom? I don't know. It doesn't matter. They knew. And that's how you got the crazy ass lawyer Sidney lady, how you got Giuliani, how you got all of these batshit moronic people to sort of rise to the top of the it was stolen kind of debate, because the real people who would have done it, the Kushners, the guy who was running the White House at the time, he was like, nope, I'm not having anything to do with this because you people are batshit crazy. So we're expected to hear that kind of stuff. We're expected, not in that plane of language, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of like really the Pence people. Oh my God, Mike Pence's entire office, his chief of staff, his assistants, they talked for hours and hours, and they're mad. These are people that do not have a concern about how are we going to keep the MAGA people voting for us like Mike Pence does, because Mike Pence wants more. So Mike Pence has been kind of quiet, but his chief of staff hasn't been. His chief of staff is like, so we're going to hear all kinds of stuff that went on that day that we have not known yet. It's going to be fascinating. It's going to be good. It's going to be, well, actually, it's probably going to be bad. It's probably going to be really bad. And I mean that in the existential term of what it means for America. It's going to be frightening. It's going to be, was not a bunch of tourists, okay? Just was not a bunch of tourists. Stop it. I know what I fucking saw. Don't be disingenuous. Stop being so dug into your side that you can't just look at it and go, I know what that is. That's just a bunch of tourists who are erecting gallows. That's all. Stop it. Oh, please, nobody died. Yeah, they beat the shit out of people. People back to blue, except when it comes to Capitol Police trying to defend democracy. Then fuck them. Let's beat them to death with a flagpole. That's okay. You're being intellectually disingenuous. That's all I'm saying. Let's see here. What else is trending? And I hate the idea that what we all saw is political. Matthew McConaughey went on Fox News last night. He sat with Brett Barron. He was talking about how one of the big problems in America right now is that we can't agree on what facts are anymore. We can't. People are so dug into their side that they can't look at 2 + 2. Hold on a second. They can't look at 2 + 2 and agree that equals 4. Hold on a second. I need to step away. Sounds like I don't know what's going on. Hold on. Give me a second. We'll be back. You guys talk amongst yourselves. All right, I apologize. The stupid dog has figured out how to open my door. I'm telling you, this dog is amazing. She's already in here, but she realized that when the door is unlocked, all she needs to do is jump up on the handle and then turn it with her paw and then push, and the door opens up. She literally, I know a lot of people. My dog can open doors. I know it's a thing that some dogs can do, but she has figured out how to open the door when it's closed, when it's not locked. But here's the problem: she doesn't think to close it. So she will just open the door and then she'll just walk in and she'll go to her little spot where she lays by the air conditioner. And then the door is always like left half open. And that's what just happened. The door was half open. Justice Kavanaugh is trending. Justice Kavanaugh is trending because did you hear about this? There was a crazy plot that was foiled. I got some thoughts on this. I'll share them. But first, let me give you the plot points. Nicholas John Roske. Roske. Not entirely sure of the ethnic origin of that name or how to properly pronounce it. He's been arrested with a gun near Brett Kavanaugh's home after threatening to kill him over the abortion draft leak. As I said a couple of days ago, welcome to Central America in the 1980s. We're killing judges now. We're going after judges now in America. That's right. Something that seemed so completely foreign, something that seemed like could only happen in a banana republic or some sort of weird failed democracy. Now, looks like we're there. Looks like we're there now. We're taking out judges. The California man was carrying a handgun, a knife, and burglary tools. What the hell? That ain't good. That ain't good. Hold on. Oh, geez, you guys. Hold on. What did I just get a virus on this stupid? Oh, this is. Hold on. I just got a pop-up that basically just took over my whole damn thing. So let's try this again. All right, here we go. Try it again. Let's see. A California man was carrying a handgun, a knife, burglary tools, and pepper spray, and allegedly told police that he had traveled to the state to kill Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. The man was armed and made threats against Justice Kavanaugh. He said that the Supreme Court Supreme Court spokeswoman Patricia McCabe on Wednesday. He was transported to Montgomery County Police 2nd District. Sources told the suspect is Nicholas John Roske, 26 years old, and that he took a taxi to the area of the justice's residence. The outlet reported that Roske called 911 on himself and said he had suicidal thoughts and had traveled from California to attack Kavanaugh and had a gun in his suitcase. He allegedly said he wanted to give his life purposely by killing Kavanaugh. All right, so caught him, plot foiled. Although, can you really be credited with foiling the plot when the guy calls 911 on himself and says, here's what I'm going to do? Whatever. But come on, people. We're crazy people out there. Now we're killing judges. That's what we do now. All right. Now we got people who are arguing about the just stop it. Just stop arguing. I know what I saw. People know what they saw. Stop it. Come on. Stop it. Oh, Jeff says, quit with the Pornhub bugs. Yeah, right. I don't know. It's not, it wouldn't be Pornhub, Jeff. What it would be is my sketchy consistent use of well, let's just say this. I enjoy watching sports and I enjoy watching out of market sports. And I have found ways to consume out of market sports that may or may not be an end around of rules and regulations. That's so it's probably not. It's not so much sex porn as maybe it is my addiction to sports porn, which is not really porn at all. It's just you get what I'm saying. All right, let's go here. What else do we have? We got McConaughey trending. We don't need to spend a whole lot of time on that. We all saw the speech. I will say this. Here's something that really bothered me about them. First of all, I thought the speech. Look, he's an actor. He's a really good actor. He's a good actor. He's not a good actor. Well, yeah, he is. He's a good actor. He's an interesting guy. He's a strange bird. But man, that performance, and I do think that it was performative. That's not to say that it was devoid of authentic emotion. I think that he was truly feeling the way he was feeling. However, he's a trained actor and he knows how to present that in the most effective way. So that's what we had yesterday with Matthew McConaughey. What I didn't appreciate was that there are, and again, we're delving back into the whole idea of intellectual dishonesty. Why were the shills for the gun manufacturers pushing this idea that we don't need some Hollywood liberal coming here and telling us about this situation? Fox News, I saw a bunch of stuff from OAN. I saw a bunch of like the far right wing commentators. They were all following the bullet point of Hollywood liberal. First of all, he's not a liberal. He's a moderate. We here in Texas know from all the things that he said while he was pretending like he was going to run for governor that he is not your typical George Clooney Hollywood liberal. That is not what Matthew McConaughey is. And secondly, Hollywood liberal, this dude was born and raised in Uvalde, Texas. He is from this town. This isn't Joaquin Phoenix being trotted out into the White House press room to start, telling people about how you got to be better about guns. This is a guy who actually lived and grew up in that town. And secondly, Hollywood liberal, Matthew McConaughey has lived in Austin, Texas for decades. He is not a Hollywood liberal. He lives in Texas. He is a Texan. He is a gun owner. He is a gun enthusiast. He is a very moderate guy. But because there are people who are consuming the media and need to know who the demons are, they were force-fed a line of bullshit. Hollywood liberal who knows nothing and shouldn't be. He's not a Hollywood liberal. This talking point had been pushed so far that all the other news media were forced to put up on their screen actor and Uvalde, Uvalde, what is it called? Resident? He's not a resident, but I don't know, whatever. But they had to put up on all of their screens during this thing that he was from Uvalde, that there is a reason that he's up here talking about this. But again, I will say it was a beautiful speech, but it was a beautiful speech by a guy who's very good at making speeches because he's a trained actor. And that is not to say that the emotions that he was, funneling there were inauthentic. I believe they were. How could they not be? This guy met with these parents. What kind of a fucking monster could go and meet with these parents and then just get up and go, all right, I'm going to put on a show? No, I believe that his emotions were sincere. I believe they were authentic. However, he is trained at how to present those emotions most effectively. So look, see there, that's the middle ground. That's the middle ground of, oh, he's such a magical person. He's like a saint and a god among us. Versus, he's just a Hollywood actor. That's all he's doing. He's just acting. See, the middle ground takes both of those things into account and goes, it's probably that he was really affected by it, because who wouldn't be? And then he has the skills as an actor to present it authentically and effectively. That's all. That's all. See, that's what being a moderate's about. It's telling the people on the right, shut up, you morons, and telling people on the left, Oh, just stop it. So McConaughey's trending. I'll tell you this, though. If a primetime game show host and reality show guy can convince America to vote for him, Matthew McConaughey could be president. No, he couldn't. Oh, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? You think that Trump could convert that thing. Trump is like a silly person. He's a silly guy. This is what I don't get about the people who love Trump. I've known Trump since the 1980s. He's always been silly. He's always been just a silly guy. And he was on TV, so he appealed to people who were, very, whatever, I'll watch it. And this is not a commentary on any of his politics or anything like that. I'm just talking about the machinations of how he rose to the highest office in the land. Matthew McConaughey could be president. No, he couldn't. Ronald Reagan. Well, he was governor of California first. Okay, true, but there's time. Matthew McConaughey could be. Matthew McConaughey looked very, electable. I'll put it that way. Electable. Your mom will vote for Matthew McConaughey. Your sister will vote for Matthew McConaughey. Your wife will vote for Matthew McConaughey. And maybe some of your friends too. That's all I'm saying. That was just the observation that I got from that. I'm like, Jesus, if this guy can communicate a message this well, sky's the limit for this dude. I don't know what else he wants to do, but holy shit. Homeland Security is trending again for the second day in a row because they have now added some things to yesterday's reason for them trending, which was that they said, we're on heightened alert now. We are on crazy heightened alert for the summer because of, gun violence and all that kind of stuff. U.S. sees heightened extremist threat heading into the midterms. Looming Supreme Court decision on abortion, an increase in migrants at the U.S.-Mexico border, and the midterm elections are all potential triggers for extremist violence over the next few months. This, according to the Department of Homeland Security. The U.S. was in a heightened threat environment already, and these factors may worsen the situation. Department of Homeland Security said in their latest National Terrorism Advisory System bulletin. Why so many words? Why so many? In the coming months, we expect the threat environment to become more dynamic as several high-profile events could be exploited to justify acts of violence against a range of possible targets. DHS said. So there you go. That's why DHS is trending. Monkeypox is trending. CDC raises monkeypox alert to level 2, recommends masks during travel. Oh, stop it. I ain't getting monkeypox. A couple weeks ago, y'all came out and said that this ain't nothing like the coronavirus. It's not as easily transmissible. I'm not really sure what the word is there that I'm looking for. And, I'm not a gay guy. And honestly, it seems like it's spreading among gay dudes. That seems to be where the monkeypox issue is most treacherous. CDC raises monkeypox alert level 2, and it recommends masks during travel. The CDC warns that the disease has been most prevalent among men who have sex with men. All right. I'm not going to travel, so I don't need to do that. I'm not going to have any sex with any men. Hell, I'm not going to have any sex with anybody. I'm in the clear. I'm not going to be a person who worries about catching monkeypox. The CDC raised its alert level for monkeypox to level 2 on Monday, recommending that travelers wear masks, among other health measures, while not on the level of COVID-19. Monkeypox has spread across the globe out of Africa since March. You'll begin by having relatively flu-like symptoms, but they will soon expand to swelling of the lymph nodes and a rash across the body and face. Ultimately, painful lesions form on rash areas, leaving severe scarring. Ew, monkeypox. It's just because it's scary, right? Like, that's why we're all talking about this, because we just came out of a global pandemic, and some might say we're still in it. Hell, we should check in on my old partner, Kelly. Her daughter out there in California has the Rona now. People are still getting it. People are still. So I don't know. I've moved on. I got my shots. I'm all, I feel fine. Bring it on. Whatever. Still haven't decided whether I'm getting my next booster. I'm like a couple of weeks away from when I would need to get my next booster. And gotta be honest, don't think I can do it. I'm still not there yet. I'm still not there. Larry Nassar is trending. Remember Larry Nassar? He's the pervy doctor from Michigan State University who molested all the Olympic gymnasts. He's back in the news. More than 90 women plan to file lawsuits against the FBI, accusing the former agents at the agency of botching the sex abuse investigation into former USA Gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar. Olympic gymnast gold medalist Simone Biles, Aly Raisman, and Michaela Maroney are among the women who will file lawsuits seeking total claims of more than $1 billion. The newspaper reported on Wednesday, citing a statement from the woman's lawyers. So if you remember this story, here's how it played out. So long before Nassar was convicted and was, brought into the public spotlight with the charges, they had been complaining to him. And there was an Indianapolis-based field office for the FBI who had this case. And through something, that field office decided, USA Olympics, let's not get involved. And he molested a whole bunch more kids. So there you have it. Cover your ass, my man. It's bye, Brady. Brady says, okay, got a jet. Got to go help the wife unpack. You all have a great day. See you at the Pillow Talk. No, I'll see you at the Pillow. Actually, that's not true. You will see me at the Pillow Talk. I'll just see your comments. Arizona police are trending today. This is because, did you see this video? I'm not going to show the video because, what's the point? And honestly, the video that's been released is a heavily edited body cam video released by this particular police department in Arizona. This has not been a good couple of weeks for law enforcement in this country. These stories, boy, I'll tell you, this is a nasty one. We've got the Uvalde Police Department, who are basically just standing around refusing to do what we all assumed was their job when those kids were being slaughtered in that classroom. So we have that. That's not a good look. And now we have this in Arizona. In Arizona, here. So a homeless dude jumped into a lake, right? He was being questioned by Arizona police officers. So the homeless dude jumps into the lake because he didn't want to talk to the cops. So whatever. Okay. So he jumps into the lake and then he starts to drown. And he, according to the transcript, this is Tempe police. A Phoenix suburb is reviewing how it handles water rescues as video of 3 police officers standing nearby as a homeless man drowned sparks outcry. The Tempe Police Department says the officers are on paid administrative leave after last month's drowning in a city lake. An uproar arose after Tempe police on Friday released edited footage. It's very edited footage from officers' body cameras, as well as a transcript of the May 28th incident. See, here's the problem. The transcript that they released doesn't match up with what you see on the video. You see some very alarming things. You read some very alarming things in the transcript, and then you don't have any corresponding video for it. And I think that what they're being criticized for here is that they recognize that if you can see the video and read it, it's not going to be good. So they seem to have just edited this stuff out. Bottom line is this guy was drowning. He was begging for help. He was pleading with police to help get him out of the water and save him. And the cops were just standing there going, no, sorry, don't want to get wet. Which, if you're a construction worker, or maybe if you're a dude who works for Plano, you can do that because whatever, you're just there as a city worker and that's not your gig. But when you're a cop or a fireman, I would think, and maybe I'm wrong, your job is to do the right thing. Your job is to be a hero. Your job is to be the good guy with the good intentions, and they didn't do it. And again, I say this all the time. I am not anti-cop. I'm not anti-cop at all. I am anti-bad cop, and these cops suck. Just like the Uvalde cops. I mean, my God, you jump in. Somebody is drowning. Somebody needs help. A human being needs help. You help them. That is what being a morally grounded and centered individual compels you to do. You help people. You don't just go, I don't want to get wet. Bye-bye, loser. Okay, and if that's what you're thinking, you suck. You just suck. You're a bad person. You are a bad person who does not give a shit about your fellow man. So don't come at me with any Jesus bullshit or Christian thoughts or anything like that, because you suck. You're a terrible person if you can just sit and watch another human being perish in front of you without having any kind of emotion. What are you, broken? Yes, you probably are. The video shows Sean Bickings, 34, climb over a 4-foot fence along Tempe Town Lake. An officer tells him swimming is not permitted. Bickings then goes into the water and starts swimming. Another officer tells police to watch him while he goes to get a boat. The video ends there, but the transcript shows 2 officers repeatedly telling Bickings to swim to a pylon and hold on. Bickings continuously says, "I can't. Help me. Help me." You're a cop. You're supposed to help, man. I'm sorry. You're supposed to help. I don't want to get all wet. Then I got to go home and I got to do laundry. Well, come on, man. We rely on cops to do if we are going to back the blue, which I think that we need to do. These are people in our community. We cannot hold all the police responsible for the actions, or in this case, inactions of a few. All cops are bad. No, stop it. You small-minded, stupid person. Just because some cops are bad doesn't mean all cops are bad. Just because some dentists are bad doesn't mean all dentists are bad. There are bad people holding positions in all walks of life. There are people who should not be doing the job, whether it's a construction worker or, an attorney, whatever. Except firemen. Firemen all seem to be willing to run in. You never see a house on fire and a bunch of firemen standing outside going, "You want to go in?" "I don't want to go in." "Should we go in?" I think that's because firemen are a bit crazy. All right, that's another theory I can get into. I can talk for 10 minutes about how I think firemen are crazy. Crazy, thankfully crazy. Thankfully, we've harnessed a group of crazy people in society and given them a job where they can contribute. And we should be all very appreciative of that, but it doesn't change the idea that I still think firemen are crazy. That building's on fire and the walls are caving in and the floors are collapsing. Let's go! That's crazy. In a news release Monday, the city said officials will reevaluate the protocols around water rescues. They will also look at where rescue equipment like life preservers should be placed relative to the lake and the body. I like to think, I told the story a couple of weeks ago about my friend who used to work with me in radio in Chicago. It was a freezing day. He's walking across the Michigan Avenue Bridge and somebody fell in. And they were like treading water and they were screaming for help. And this dude in a fancy suit, just a sales guy, he took off his jacket, he took off his shoes, and he jumped into the freezing Chicago River to save this stranger's life. That's a hero. The cops standing on dry land going, "Swim to the buoy. Swim to the buoy." While the guy goes, "Help, help, help." No, swim to the buoy. Hey, go see if you can get a boat out there. "Dude, what are you doing?" "Swim to the buoy." "Help, help, help." That's not a hero. That's not a hero. My friend Joe, the late, great Joe Duffy, he's dead. The late, great Joe Duffy, he was a hero. He reacted in the moment. He said, there is a human being who needs the help of another human being. Nobody is willing to jump into this freezing river. And he did it. He did it. Man. And I like to think that I would do it too, but I don't know. If I'm being totally honest with you. I don't know. I might lock up in that moment. I might be like, is anybody else going to do it? We all want to think that we're the hero. Hell, if I was in a movie theater and I got my gun on me and somebody starts shooting, I would then I'd get into my crotch and I would kill that goddamn. We all want to believe that that's who we are, but not all of us are. Sometimes it's just, I'm scared, or I don't want to get wet, or whatever it is. Heat wave is coming. Heat wave is trending. This is going to suck. They're predicting one of the worst June heat waves in American southwestern history. More than 22 million people in the Southwest brace for unseasonably dangerous heat. Have you seen this? This weekend, let me pull up what we're going to be here. Let's be honest. We've already had 6 weeks of temperatures in the 90s. It's already here in Texas. It's already been hot. Let's see what we got. What is coming for us? Here's what's coming for us here, and then I'll get to the story about what's Wednesday, today, the high is going to be 94 degrees. Okay. And it's going to be mostly sunny. Tomorrow on Thursday, the high is going to be 96 degrees. It's going to be partly sunny. Friday, it's going to be 101. Saturday, it's going to be 101. On Sunday, here in North Texas, on Sunday, it is predicted to be 106 degrees. And let me tell you, as someone who has lived quite a few Texas summers, that's nothing. That's nothing. Bring your 106 degrees. I have survived multiple Augusts in Texas. I have looked at my car, little temperature gauge, and I have seen it go from 109 on startup to 110, 111, 112. I have seen that number climb, and I say, bring it on! But yeah, Sunday, 106 degrees. Then on Monday, 104 degrees. Oh, and then we're going to get a cool off. Then it's going to cool off. So Sunday and Monday, this coming Sunday and Monday, 106 degrees is predicted and 103 degrees is predicted. Then on Tuesday, it's going to cool off. It's going to be 101. Then on Wednesday, it's going to really cool off. Hell, it's going to feel like college football weather by the time Wednesday comes around of next week, because it's going to be 99. At least that's what they say. And then it goes up again for the weekend. And then by Friday, it's going to be 101 again. And then on Saturday, it's going to be 103. So we are getting, I really don't remember this. I mean, I remember over 100, over 105 being pretty regular for like August 15th here in Texas, right? I mean, that's when you expect it. Maybe sometime in July, it'll get, significantly over 100 degrees. But I don't remember in early June it being over 105 degrees here in North Texas. But that's not even the worst of it. That's just us local here. That's just, and by the way, knock on wood, come on, Greg Abbott, let's hope that your electricity holds out, because I'm telling you, it's going to be, we're looking at essentially a week of either 100 or 100 plus degree temperatures. Are we going to have electricity? Are we going to, it's going to be, oh God. It's going to be 105 degrees and our electricity is going to be, rolling in and out. It's going to be, okay, the next couple hours, it's going to be 140 degrees in your house. And then you can turn on your air for 40 minutes and we'll get it down to a nice 95 inside. Then we're going to turn it off again for 2 hours. Then open your windows at night. It's only going to be 102 at 2 a.m. Oh, God. I'm not looking forward to that. So, but I do. I fully expect us to have. I mean, we had rolling blackouts last summer, and last summer, if I recall, was a pretty tepid summer. It was not as terrible as some of the North Texas summers that I've experienced in the past. Last year was manageable. Oh man, but we are starting early. Dangerous and potentially deadly heat will settle over the southwestern United States for the next several days, with temperatures in some locations expected to break records and exceed 110 degrees. More than 22 million people in California, Nevada, and Arizona are under some sort of heat-related alert. See, it's coming this way. So it's out there, so it'll be here next week. The National Weather Service said a heat wave is defined as a period of abnormality and uncomfortability. Let's see here. Please protect yourself, the Weather Service offers in Phoenix, has warned residents. What's the forecast? It's going to be dry and very hot. An excessive heat warning was in effect through Sunday night for the Southern California, Arizona, and San Diego metropolitan area, where temperatures were forecast to reach 117 degrees. Similar sweltering conditions were expected around the Grand Canyon and other parts of central Arizona, including Flagstaff, Las Vegas, which is a city used to soaring temperatures. Vegas could reach 115 degrees. Some of the most extreme heat is predicted in Death Valley along the California-Nevada border, where the mercury could rise to 121 degrees. An excessive heat watch was in effect through Saturday for a large swath of California from Sacramento to Los Angeles. Temperatures up to 106 degrees were expected in the San Joaquin Valley and the lower Sierra Nevada foothills, while highs around the Bay Area could peak at 105 degrees. In Los Angeles, temperatures may max out at 107 degrees. A small section of Northern California and Western Nevada was under a heat advisory until at least Friday. Temperatures around the region were expected to top out around 100 degrees. How bad will it get? Don't expect the heat to subside anytime soon. This is the beginning of a potentially scorching summer. In a report issued last month, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration said that above normal temperatures were likely across most or all of the lower 48 states in June, July, and August, except for a small area in the Pacific Northwest and the Northern Plains. So there you go. So move to Oregon or North Dakota, and you should be fine. That's the only place where it's not going to be absolutely insane. Trying to scare us. Watch, it'll be a beautiful 85 degrees, partly sunny, with afternoon sprinkles. That's what we need. Although right now today, what is the current temperature? Let me see. It's been in the mid-90s the last couple of days, right? Hasn't it? Let's see what we're looking at now. Boom, boom, boom. So yeah, yesterday at 4:10 p.m. it was 94 degrees, and currently at 1:40 p.m. here in Highland Park, Texas, it is 91 degrees. And a little gray outside. You know, I think maybe the cloud cover is helping us a little bit. It's kind of gray. It's gray and hot. Oh my goodness. What do you do? Okay, so let me put it to you this way. So what happens if, like, next week when it's, like 6 straight days of 100 degrees, what if the electric goes out? What am I going to do? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm loading up the car and I am coming home. We'll suspend the show for a little bit of time. Hell, Mom, get your spare room ready, because I am coming. There is no way. There is absolutely no way that I can live down here for a week with rolling blackouts, no electricity, and 105 degree temperatures. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Maybe, what do you do? Where do you go? Is there another state I can go to? Is Oklahoma's power grid any better than Texas? I don't know. Is Arkansas's? Because those would be the 3 states that are most, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. Those would be the 3 states that you could jump in a car and you could drive to and hopefully get some consistent electricity. I don't understand why Texas doesn't provide consistent electricity. Oh yeah, I do understand it. I just don't want to go into it now, because just like everything else, it's friggin' political. That's why, because some people got really rich at the expense of the rest of us who have to put up with rolling blackouts. All right. Carson Chrisley is trending. You know who this guy is? Carson Chrisley. He's got that show, Chrisley Knows Best. Have you ever seen it? I have never seen it because I don't like reality shows, but I do know who he is because I am a student of pop culture. So I don't know, this guy, it's like a show on one of those stupid cable channels, and it's a reality show, and it's him and his wife and his family, and they're rich and they live in the suburbs, and that's why they have a show. That's why they have a show. I don't know. Here's what I do know. I do know that the little that I have seen of this Chrisley Knows Best show, this guy is gay. This guy is a homosexual. This guy is a flamboyant. And there's nothing wrong with that. I am just saying he is obviously a flamboyant, over-the-top homosexual, married to a woman, and he has a couple of kids. I am making no judgments. I am simply offering an observation which plays to a greater deduction that I've made as to why I don't want to watch this show, because from the very first impression I get from this guy, he's a con man. He's a complete full of shit con man. He's not even honest about who he is. This is my beautiful wife, and he's wearing like a leopard skin jacket, and he's like, oh girl, I just love my new. I mean, he is so flamboyantly over the top. I'm like, I don't believe a word that comes out of this guy's like, this guy is what do effeminate. That is something he actually said in an episode. What are you talking about, girl? What are you? Right? So, look, I have no, maybe it's time for me to be completely upfront about this. I've made this statement many times, but sometimes I feel I need to reiterate it. I got no problem with gay. I know all. Really? Are some of your best friends gay? How do you answer that? I live in the modern world. I have associates. I have people whose company I enjoy. I have those that I seek advice from. I have a number of individuals in my immediate personal universe who are both homosexual men and lesbian women. Okay? There you go. Do you know what I don't like? Flamboyant people. Okay? I do not like people who are overly dramatic, who are loud and now oftentimes that seems to be a characteristic, a stereotypical characteristic of a homosexual man from the 1980s and 90s. I fully understand that just because somebody is like, oh, girl, what are you talking about? I fully understand that that person is not necessarily oriented to homosexuality. That's fine. But I don't like their behavior. I don't like their presentation. It's just all so much. I said in a very flamboyant, it's just all so much. I'm exhausted being, girl, welcome to my hair salon. It's all so much. It's draining. It's exhausting. I can tell you that there is not one of my confidants, friends, I have a mentor who is a gay man. They aren't like that. They're just normal people who happen to be homosexual. It is insignificant to all of the other qualities that they bring into my life, and I enjoy being around with them because they're not catty, because they're not going to ruin brunch with their critiques of the silverware. I don't like those kinds of people. So that's what this Chrisley dude is. Chrisley's, well, girl, da-da-da. It's just, so irritating. And apparently he's not gay. I don't know. He says he's not gay, but then he's got a lover, a dude who came out last year who's like, oh, he's definitely gay. So that dude, best to my knowledge, that dude hasn't been sued. That dude hasn't, because when somebody says, hey, you're gay, you're probably not gay if you immediately sue that person and that person has no way of proving it. But if somebody accuses you of something like that and then you do not take legal action, it's because they can prove they're right. So that's kind of what I think is going on with this guy. But he's so irritating. He's got bigger fish to fry now because he is trending because the stars of the USA Network reality TV show Chrisley Knows Best are facing 30 years behind bars after being found guilty Tuesday afternoon. Reality stars and former Georgia residents Todd and Julie Chrisley were found guilty on all counts of bank fraud and tax evasion by a federal jury Tuesday in downtown Atlanta. The jury began deliberating on Friday afternoon and returned the verdict on Tuesday afternoon. The newspaper reported that the show was recently renewed for a 10th season. Oh my God. Federal prosecutors who indicted the Chrisley Knows Best couple back in 2019 said the Chrisleys deliberately swindled at least $30 million from community banks between 2007 and 2012. See, this is what I'm saying. I don't understand. I guess I'm. What would that be? I mean, I'm not psychic. I'm not, but I'm like, all right, let's just put it as basically as possible. I'm a good judge of character. I can look at somebody and I can judge the micro actions of how they behave, how they talk, how they treat people, how they walk into a restaurant. I can look at all of those things, put them together in my mind, and almost instantly determine whether or not this is somebody who can be trusted. I immediately look for things like, I don't know, being a slave to their own ego, signs of narcissism, some sort of denial. A lot of these people deny. Anyway, I don't want to get into it. But But what I'm saying is, I can look at somebody and I can go, oh, that dude's full of shit. That dude is why can't all of you? What? Now I know a lot of you. I know many of you here in the chat room can. I know because you're here in the chat room. But my God, over the past few years, I had this bucket of cold water dumped over my head where I woke up one day and I realized a good 40% of the United States American population, a good 40% of all of us here in America have no ability to spot a con. Suckers born every minute. Isn't that what P.T. Barnum said? And he was right. He was right. So this guy, Chrisley, the minute I saw him on TV, I'm like, this dude is not to be trusted. This dude is an absolute con man. And here we are. Bunch of years later, he's going to jail. He's been convicted of. So what he was doing was, he would take loans out from small banks. He would go around, he would like bank shop. He'd find like these small banks and then he would use his, well, you know me, girl, I'm on TV. You've got to be able to trust me. And then he would create these fake documents using like Word and stuff like that. And he would present these documents to bank officials. And because he was shopping at like smaller banks and using his celebrity and all that, he was able to skirt some of the typical checks and balances that these banks use before they loan somebody, I don't know, $1 million. And he was just taking all of these loans from all of these banks based on fake documents. And then he was just buying fantastic, crazy, over-the-top things that you saw in his TV show. Like, all right, everybody, y'all get Rolls Royces now. Come on out to the garage. It's going to be a great episode of Chrisley Knows Best. I just bought my 6-month-old baby a Rolls Royce. Yeah, he's doing shit like that. He's doing so, The patriarch of the Chrisley family, Carson. What did I call him? I call him Carson. It's Todd. With all due respect to any Todds out there, that's a red flag name. I'm just saying, Todd is a red flag name. Todd is a red flag name. Don't you want to say it? There's because there may or may not be. I may or may not have a friend with this name, so I won't say it. But Crystal is another red flag name. The patriarch of the Chrisley family, Todd, is a self-made millionaire and successful entrepreneur. How you can be a successful entrepreneur when you're looking at 30 years in prison for the ways that you became an entrepreneur? I would say you are a wildly unsuccessful entrepreneur because it all came crashing down and you're going to die in prison, you weirdo. The network claimed one of his many achievements include creating and producing content for both the USA Network and Netflix. However, he considers his greatest accomplishment to be his children. Yeah, because he's gay. Because nobody thought that he would ever father children. That's why he thinks it's his greatest accomplishment. Todd Chrisley isn't your typical cookie cutter father, and his family. No, he's not. And his family wouldn't have it any other way. Brash, outspoken, opinionated, with a razor-sharp Southern wit, he keeps his family in line through his brutal honesty and his brutal, honest form of parenting. Brutally honest form of parenting? I don't think so. Todd always places his family first. The self-proclaimed patriarch of perfection attempts to keep everyone in line and help prevent their catastrophes. I don't care. Whatever. He and his wife, they're looking at 30 years in prison because they're obvious con men. They're obvious con men. Jeopardy is trending today. Why is Jeopardy trending? Because we're getting ready. This story's from my mom. My mom loves the Jeopardy. My mom and her Eddie love the Jeopardy. They watch it every day. So Jeopardy is trending because they're about to name the permanent host. That's right. So Alex Trebek, he died like a decade ago now. He's been gone a long time. And they, so in the last few, maybe year or so, they've been sort of moving between Mayim Bialik, Blossom, for those of us from the 80s, Mayim Bialik and Ken Jennings. Ken Jennings is like the greatest Jeopardy player of all time. I love Ken Jennings. Ken Jennings is funny. He used to be good on Twitter. He's not good on Twitter anymore because he's trying to nail down the Jeopardy job, so he can't really be as funny as he used to be on Twitter. But it's between Mayim Bialik and Ken Jennings. Now, the other day I was talking about how I've discovered this podcast for Mike Reiner's podcast. Mike Reiner is a legendary, iconic broadcaster here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Mike Reiner has a podcast called Your Dark Companion, and it's really good. It's really interesting. He's a really interesting, deep, old, cool dude. And he was talking about how he watches Jeopardy. He's like, he records it and he watches it every night before he goes to bed. And he had an observation. He was talking about the Mayim Bialik Ken Jennings thing and how they introduce both of them differently. When Mayim Bialik is hosting Jeopardy, the voiceover guy says, "And now the host of Jeopardy, Mayim Bialik." That's how they introduced Mayim Bialik. But when it's Ken Jennings, they say something to the effect of, "Today's host, Ken Jennings." Like, so he's like, I think they're going to give the job to Mayim Bialik because they're calling her the host of Jeopardy. Whereas when Ken Jennings does it, they phrase it as today's host or something like that. He said anyway, it was different. It was different. And my thought on that is just simple contract work. My thought on that is that Mayim Bialik is represented by a big Hollywood agency. And when it came time to negotiate, her stint as a guest host or, the competition between her and Ken Jennings, I bet you her agency just said, okay, we need this to be how she's introduced. Whereas Ken Jennings people probably didn't even think of that. Ken Jennings people were just like, yeah, okay, great, man. Just sign me up. I'd love to do it. I'll come by and do it, whatever you want. Whereas the Hollywood structure that surrounds Mayim Bialik, because she's an actress, she's Blossom, and then she was on Big Bang Theory and all that. She's got a new show. She's got a show called Cat, I guess, that is entering into a third season that is set to debut the new season in September. So she's got people. She's got Hollywood people. And Hollywood people do those kinds of things where they say, all right, so when she's introduced, she is going to be introduced. Here are the words we want you to use. The host of Jeopardy. And that's maybe why it's different. But Mike Reiner on his podcast, he pointed that out, and he was like, I think that's interesting, and I think that might suggest that they are leaning towards Mayim Bialik. However, comes news today that it may have been slipped out that they have made a decision on who the new full-time host of Jeopardy is going to be, and it's going to be Ken Jennings. Ken Jennings. Why? Because for the reason I just told you, Mayim Bialik has a television show that she works full time on. And the show was originally, they produced it in January and in February. So they would shoot those shows in January and February, which I believe are times that Jeopardy does not shoot. However, now that show that she's on is shooting and filming in September because it's been picked up for a larger amount of episodes. And so they need to start earlier. And that suggests that Mayim Bialik will not be available to do the full run of Jeopardy. And also Ken Jennings on his own podcast said that he just signed a contract to do more episodes of Jeopardy. So people are like, all right, so there you go. Jeopardy themselves are expected to make this announcement within the next couple of weeks. But Smart Money is now leaning towards Ken Jennings because of prior commitments that have been publicly disclosed by Mayim Bialik and Mayim Bialik's people. Live PD. Live PD is trending. Live PD. Remember Live PD? Live PD was the A&E show. It was sort of a modern interpretation of Cops. I used to love Cops, man. I'm telling you, all throughout the 90s, you getting ready to go out on a Saturday night, trying to figure out where you're going to meet up with your boys, what you're going to do, whose party you're going to go to, what you're going to do. And every time I'm brushing my teeth, getting out of the shower, guess what was on the TV? Bad Boys, 7:30, full hour block, Fox News, Saturday night, 7 to 8 o'clock, right in my prime showering and getting dress time. Cops was on. I loved Cops. Cops was fascinating. Then a couple of years ago, Dan Abrams creates this new version of Cops, and it's not a new version of Cops. It's almost the same thing. It's just a completely different. It's not in any way related to Cops, but it's the same premise. Live PD, where Dan Abrams said, Cops, they film stuff over the previous week, and then they edit it and they present it as a pre-recorded presentation on Saturdays. What if we just did it live? What if we just had a camera crew in the back of police cruisers, and when they pull people over, we just show it live? Live TV was awesome. Live PD. I loved that show, and it became a national sensation. Everybody was talking about Live PD. It was so, look, it is fascinating. You're telling me I can sit in my lazy boy, I can put on the big screen and I can watch cops in Virginia pulling people over and just whatever happens, happens. Sometimes nothing happens. Sometimes crazy things happen, but mostly it's nothing. But it's still endlessly fascinating to watch how these things play out. And then Live PD got canceled because, cops started killing people and it just became like an untenable situation for A&E. A&E was like, yeah, all right, we're going to take this off. And there are, I will fully admit that, I still enjoy it because it's an adrenaline rush watching this thing. But I will fully admit that there were moments while watching Live PD where I would sit there screaming at the TV going, that's a civil rights violation. You can't do that. This is overreach. This cop is wait. So, I mean, there were those moments, but there were also a lot of moments where I'm like, get him, he's running. I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting. And A&E decided to step away from their wildly successful Live PD franchise because of, outside pressure. And, it's a bad look for the network and all that. But it's back. After what, 2-3 years of it going away, Live PD is being brought back. This is as being reported today by Variety, which is the Bible of the entertainment. Live PD to be revised on Reels. Reels, REE. I don't know what Reels is. Live PD to be revived on Reels this summer as On Patrol Live. So it's being called On Patrol, hosted by Dan Abrams. Now I don't know if we're gonna get Stick or whatever. He was one of the cops. It was genius because they had camera crews with police departments all over the country, and they were on like all these screens, right? All these a wall of TVs. And then you had a studio presentation where you had Dan Abrams and two real cops, two retired cops. And they're watching all of these things play out on the TVs. And they'll say, it looks like something's going on in Phoenix. Let's pull up Phoenix. And then boop, the big screen would come up and it would be Phoenix. And you basically had play-by-play. You had Dan Abrams and these two cops sitting there watching this play. See, what he's going to do here now is he's going to back off and he's going to read him his Miranda rights right now because he wants to put it out there that this is moving forward as an arrest situation. It was fascinating to watch how these things were happening. The producers of Live PD are reviving the show's live format on Reels, but under a new working title. On Patrol Live is set to premiere later this summer. The network announced Wednesday, just like Live PD, the show will air live twice a week on Friday and Saturday nights. The good times. That's when that's where you get the drunks, you get the people out partying, you get a bunch of teenagers smoking pot in the car. You get all that kind of stuff because it's Friday and Saturday night. The news comes 2 years after A&E pulled the plug on Live PD in the wake of ongoing protests against police brutality and concerns over coverage of police activity following the killings of George Floyd in Minnesota. Live PD was a juggernaut for A&E, dominating cable ratings and spawning multiple spinoffs, including Live PD Wanted, Live PD Police Patrol, Live PD Presents, PD Cam. It was good, man. Well, good is probably not the proper word. It was fascinating, and I never missed an episode. I watched it. I don't know if it's good. Good means I don't know. I know that I enjoyed it. And I looked forward to watching Live PD. Big Fish Entertainment, which was behind Live PD, will produce the new show via Half Moon Pictures, its new arm devoted to crime and investigative series. Dan Abrams, who hosted Live PD, will anchor the new show as well. Abrams is the CEO and founder of Abrams Media, host of Dan Abrams Live on News Nation, and a chief legal analyst for ABC News. Joining Abrams is retired Tulsa Police Sergeant Sean Sticks Larkin. Sticks Larkin. He's one of the cops. He's like the Tony Romo of it. See, what's going to happen next is I predict this guy's going to run. You can tell. Look at the way his eye. There he goes. He's running. Tony Romo predicts shit. That's what Sticks was good at. Sticks was predicting, Joining Abrams is retired Tulsa Police Sergeant Sean Stix Larkin and Deputy Sheriff Curtis Wilson. And I think Curtis Wilson's the other guy, too. Division Commander with the Richland County Sheriff's Department in Columbia, South Carolina. Law enforcement is front and center in the national discussion, and our hope is that by showing the work these officers do in a live format, we'll provide viewers, okay, whatever. We all know what it is. So there you go. If you're excited, I'm kind of excited. I can't wait to get it back. Kevin Spacey is trending because Kevin Spacey is now facing more problems. He was, of course, last week we talked about how he's going to be in court in England for a whole bunch of people that he harassed. And now in New York, as of today, Kevin Spacey must stand trial in federal court in a sex abuse civil suit. Judge ruled just this morning. So here's the details here. This one concerns the actor Anthony Rapp. You know, you've seen him in a whole bunch of things. I mean, he's not a big actor, but he's been in a bunch of things. You pull him up, you look at his picture, you go, oh, I know that dude. Actor Kevin Spacey must stand trial in New York federal court after a lawsuit accused him of sexual assault. This, according to what a judge ruled. The civil suit, which was filed by actor Anthony Rapp, accuses Spacey, whose real name is Kevin Spacey Fowler, of climbing on top of Rapp in a bedroom at a 1986 party in New York. Rapp said he was only 14 years old at the time. Spacey would have been 26. Time out! Time out! Time out! I am the father of a 13-year-old. So this dude was 14 at the time. Let me also preface my commentary here by saying this in no way excuses the behavior of Kevin Spacey, who seems to be, by all accounts, a real creep. What is a 14-year-old doing at a New York party late at night in a bedroom with with Kevin Spacey, a 27-year-old? He's 14. What is he doing? I have a 13-year-old. My 13-year-old. Well, it's Hollywood, Pugs. And, you know, if you want to get the roles, you got, oh, shut up. Where is this kid's parents? He's 14 years. Doesn't he have a guardian? Who is allowing a 14-year-old to be at a New York City party in 1986 with a bunch of actors and then disappear into a bedroom with a 27-year-old Kevin Spacey? What the hell, man? The civil suit, which was filed by actor Anthony Rapp, accuses Spacey, whose real name is Kevin Spacey Fowler, of climbing on top of Rapp in a bedroom at a 1986 party in New York. Rapp said he was only 14 at the time. Rapp alleged that Spacey lifted him up, that Mr. Spacey's hand grazed Mr. Rapp's clothed buttocks for seconds as he did so. That Mr. Spacey placed Mr. Rapp back down on the bed, and Mr. Spacey then briefly placed his own clothed body partially beside and partially across Mr. Rapp's. Okay, so first, what is the 14-year-old doing in a bedroom at a New York City party in 1986? Okay, that I can tell you right now that my kid, who is 13, would not be at a party, unless I was there, unless I was standing right there with him. Secondly, yeah, man, it's creepy. Kevin Spacey was obviously putting the moves on a 14-year-old kid. This description tells me without any doubt that Kevin Spacey was putting moves on a 14-year-old kid. But, you know, the details seem like he didn't get there yet. Seems like he was going there. Like, you know, he picked them up, he grabbed his buttocks, and I guess that's the bad one, right? That he grabbed him by the butt. But he didn't touch him, he didn't fondle him, he didn't diddle him, he didn't try to kiss him or anything like that. He just I know I'm splitting hair. Look, it's all bad. This is bad. This is a bad look, and this is definitely telling me that they were on the road to Kevin Spacey doing some really heinous things with a 14-year-old boy, again, who was at a New York City party alone in a bedroom with a 27-year-old actor. Where are his parents? Not excusing the actions of Kevin Spacey. I'm just saying I am smart enough, and would hope you are as well, to be able to look at a couple of different angles of what's happening here. It is all, when you take the 30,000 foot view, yes, it's all pretty damning for Kevin Spacey. But, let's look around here. Where is the responsibility of the parents in this situation? Why is a 14-year-old in a bedroom with Kevin Spacey at a New York City party in 1986? Because it's Hollywood, Pugs. Well, then, you know what? Not going to say it. Rapp testified at a deposition that there was no kissing, no undressing, no reaching under the clothes, and no sexualized statements or innuendo. According to the order, he said that the encounter lasted no more than 2 minutes. Spacey, 62, addressed the allegations in a 2017 tweet, writing that he did not remember the alleged encounter and saying, "If I did behave then, as he describes, I owe him the sincerest apology for what would have been a deeply inappropriate drunken behavior. And I am sorry for the feelings that he describes having carried with him all these years," Spacey wrote in part. Okay. I cannot speak to the way Anthony Rapp internalized this situation. We all do things differently. We all process moments in our formative years that differently. We do. So when he says this experience he's had to carry with him his entire life, I won't doubt that. I won't. I will not. I will say, okay, well, that is terrible for you. If that is true, and I'm not suggesting that's not truly how you feel. I am not suggesting that you are simply saying that because it reads better in a court document, and you're looking for some money here because Kevin Spacey's got some money and you're not really a famous actor. But that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if that is truly how you process this situation, all I can say is that for me, who had kind of a situation like that, when I was 15 years old, we went to Great America, which is the Chicago version of Six Flags. I went to the bathroom, and when I came out of the bathroom, I sat down on a bench waiting for some friends were on a ride. I sat down on a bench waiting for my friends to come back from the ride. And some like 30-year-old dude came and sat down right next to me on the bench and then put his hand on my knee and started running it up my thigh. Now that sounds similarly more, doesn't that sound more aggressive than what's being described in this guy stalked me out of a bathroom, sat down next to me, and then ran his hand up my thigh and into my short, then up in my short while looking at me really creepy. Now, Anthony Rapp says that his experience has haunted him his entire life and he's had to carry it with him. And again, I don't doubt that. We all process things differently. I can tell you that the dude who did that to me at Six Flags, honestly, I hadn't thought about it in 40 years until just now, where I'm sitting here talking about it. Hasn't haunted me. But if that guy turns out to have been like, I don't know, Tom Hanks, I might be able to muster a little something up for a lawsuit. I might be, I've been doing nothing. Sleepless nights. All I think about is the time that Tom Hanks came out of that bathroom and ran his finger. Now, you might be wondering what I did in response. My response was I jumped up, I shoved his hand away, I pushed him, and because it was 1987, I believe I called him a faggot and walked away. There you go. What the fuck, faggot? It's like that. It was, I was a 15-year-old kid in 1987, and he was apparently a child molester or somebody who was trying to see if I wanted to go back into the bathroom with him, which I absolutely did not. I was not interested in. The most regrettable thing that I remember about that whole situation was the unfortunate choice of language that I used. The the pejorative, shouting the ugly F word at him. But it was the 80s. I mean, we used that in a very, very common way. Anyway, so the judge wrote that there is a genuine issue of material facts as to whether Mr. Spacey engaged in forcible touching of Mr. Rapp's intimate parts. He went on to say the common lawsuit allegations. He went on to say the common law assault allegation was dismissed because of the statute of limitations. So that's the initial charge that Anthony Rapp brought. It was dismissed. These are new. These are a new thing, and this judge is saying it can go forward. Okay. Let's see here. You were 18. No, I know how old I was. I wasn't driving yet because we had to ride in Rick's car, so I was only 15. So I don't know. So what was it? So it was 1984, maybe 1985, something like that. Let's see. What else do we have? Tiger Woods is trending. Tiger Woods is trending because he was offered $1 billion to join the Saudi Arabian Live Tour, LIV Golf Tour, which is the competing golf tour to the PGA. Phil Mickelson has been reportedly paid $200 million. Tiger was offered $1 billion, and Tiger turned it down. You can turn that down. Come on, Tiger. You suck now. You ain't going to win any more green jackets. You ain't going to. Come on, Tiger. $1 billion. All you got to do is go. Oh, and you think what, Tiger? You think you want to come back to the Masters? You think the PGA is going to tell you no? Take the $1 billion. Take the blood money. Whatever. It's $1 billion. Look, me. I don't like the Saudis. If they were offering me a job for like 50 grand to go and work for a Saudi, I'd be like, you know what? No, not for 50 grand. If they said, hey, $1 billion, I'd be like, yep, okay, that's fine. People got to be people. Saudi's going to Saudi. Just give me that $1 billion. And $1 billion being reported that Tiger Woods turned down. Julia Garner. Julia Garner is trending today. Oh my God, is she the greatest? Yeah, she is. Oh God, do you love Julia Garner? Do you know that I never even... That's not true. I was going to say I never thought twice about Julia Garner. But I did. I mean, if you watch Ozark, you would know that the character of Ruth Langmore is one of the great characters. She is so awesome. But I didn't really, here's what I thought. That character's great. Never seen that actress before. No idea what she does. Maybe she's just like this in real life and she's not really a great actress. And then Inventing Anna on Netflix comes out where Julia Garner portrays phony Russian oligarch princess, Anna Delvey. And I was blown away. I'm like, this is the same girl? This is Ruth Langmore from Ozark now playing Anna Delvey? That is crazy. She is amazing. She's now, I'm like, Julia Garner. The next Meryl Streep. I mean, I don't know. I know we're putting that out there, right? But she is a fantastic young actress. So why is she trending? Because Julia Garner has been offered the role of Madonna in a major Hollywood film about the life of Madonna. Inventing Anna actress and Ozark, Julia Garner has been offered the role of Madonna in a forthcoming biopic about the pop icon. Garner has emerged as the favorite from over a dozen candidates, one insider added, and has for months been speculated as a frontrunner for the part of the performance Madonna will shepherd herself as director. Garner's team is considering and expected to accept the offer. There you go. How exciting is that? God, she's good. She is just tremendous. Also in Hollywood news, the Joker 2 Joker sequel has been teased online by Todd Phillips, director. Joaquin Phoenix is said to be just a boob hair away from signing. So there is going to be a Joker 2, and it is believed that it will reunite Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix. Let's see what else. Oh, here's fun. This is fun. Let's do this. I'll show you this one. All right, so a new trailer has been released, and The Munsters is trending. You remember The Munsters, the TV show The Munsters? Sure you do. If you're from the 80s, like I'm from the 80s, you remember watching this stuff. All right, so I'm going to show you. So it's Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie, right? Rob Zombie is remaking the Munsters as a major. They did it with the Addams Family, but this is Rob Zombie, so this is going to be weird. It's going to be crazy. So they've released the first trailer for the new Rob Zombie Munsters movie. So let's watch it, shall we?
Well, now what?
Yep, there you have it. That is all they're sharing with
At
us.
Midas.
Oh, shut up at Midas. There you go. I'll see it. Rob Zombie is a really interesting filmmaker, and I love the Munsters. Dare I say, as someone who goes around with the nickname Pugs, which is a derivative of Pugsley, that I prefer the Munsters over the Addams Family. Because I do. Because I like the Munsters. I thought the Munsters was funnier. I thought the Addams Family was a little too weird. A little too weird for my 5, 6, 7-year-old tastes. Munsters was right there. Hit me right there. Let's see, what else do we have here? Yeah, okay, so we'll do this. This will be the last one. I see that we've run a little bit long. The Foo Fighters have announced Actually, a couple of different versions of this is trending. Foo Fighters are trending. Taylor Hawkins is trending. Taylor Hawkins is trending because his wife is talking about thanking everybody and all that stuff. Very nice thing. But apparently there is a Foo Fighters, the Foo Fighters official have tweeted out, for our dear friend, our badass bandmate, our beloved brother, Foo Fighters and the Hawkins family bring you the Taylor Hawkins tribute concerts. Foo Fighters and the Hawkins family present Taylor Hawkins tribute concert. It will be September the 3rd in London, UK at Wembley Stadium. And then there'll be a second one, September the 27th in Los Angeles at the Forum Theater. So Taylor Hawkins tribute concert with the Foo Fighters and what I imagine is a bunch of friends. September 3rd in the UK and September 27th in Los Angeles. Tickets on sale June the 17th. So there you have it. No, last time they'll play together, I don't know. I do not know. I'm sure that we will find out. All right, let's jump in and let's see what is trending now, if anything new is trending. Excuse me. Let's see here. What do we got? Come on. Brett Kavanaugh is trending. We talked about that, about the man who was arrested, planning to kill Brett Kavanaugh. All right. Nick Cannon is trending. I don't know if he's going to have another baby. He's got like 12. Goulash is trending. I saw this trending earlier. Goulash. It says, if you grew up eating this dish, sound off with your location and what your family called it. And then they're showing goulash. And my location was the south side and south suburbs of Chicago, and my family called it goulash. It was just my mom. My mom, I used to love my mom's goulash. And honestly, it's probably something I haven't had in 40 years. So I probably more than that. But I remember as a little kid, she would make this big giant pot with noodles and ground beef, and there were onions and red sauce. And oh my God, was it good. I have no idea what it was. I have no idea. Does she even have that recipe anymore? She hasn't. You haven't made me goulash in decades, in multiple, like 40 years. Oh God. That was like one of my favorites. What were your favorite meals growing up? Was there anything like weird that your mom made? My favorite things that my mom made growing up was I liked the goulash. I liked the pork chop stew. Don't ask. I don't know. I think she made it up. I think it's a kind of stew that she made up, but it's so good. I like the goulash. I like the pork chop stew and chicken Kiev. There you go. Those are the three things that my mom made for me that I loved as a little kid. Let's see, what else do we have trending here? Tornado watch. There's a tornado watch for parts of Indiana and Kentucky going on right now, so be careful. Anthony Hopkins. Okay, he's alive. There we go. Ezra Miller. Why is Ezra? Has he been relieved of his duties? Ezra Miller is not only a bad influence there. Oh, because he's like gender fluid. They're a danger to the well-being of an 18-year-old woman, at least according to her parents, who are asking a court to step in and keep the actor away from her. Parents of 18-year-old claim Ezra Miller groomed her. Okay, well, she's 18. I'm not saying it's a good. I'm not saying. I'm just saying 18. We draw these arbitrary lines for legal purposes, and trust me, I wouldn't want my 25-year-old hanging out with. I wouldn't want my 40-year-old hanging out with Ezra Miller. Right? We've covered, documented ad nauseum his crazy behavior. There you go. All right. I got nothing else. All right, that's it. We're done. We are done. We'll be back tonight for Pillow Talk. Appreciate you coming in, hanging out with us here for High Noon. We do this every Monday through Friday at high noon. And yeah, there you go. That's pretty much everything that's been happening in the day today. Let's see. April says, my favorite was chicken taco casserole, which is basically King Ranch casserole. Oh, April, does that sound good? I'm on a diet. Oh, wait. I'm on a diet, so like I've been eating the exact same thing every night for like 2 weeks, and it's actually good, and that's the only way that I can eat it. Hold on, Kenny, I ain't done. Unless you got to leave, Kenny, then go in peace, my friend. I've been eating this like really good salad, and every time like I have to make this salad because it's really involved. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes in there, but it's good. And every time I make it, I'm like, oh, I don't want to eat salad again. And then when I start eating it, I'm like, man, but this salad is really good. Last night I woke up. I had to go to the bathroom because I'm also drinking a lot of water. It makes me have to get up in the middle of the night. So I woke up in the middle of the night last night. I went to the bathroom. When I laid back down, I thought, I want pizza. I stayed up for 45 minutes. I couldn't sleep. I was obsessing on pizza. I'm like, I just really want pizza right now. And it sucked because I did finally fall back asleep, but it was a difficult go because of my stupid diet. But man, oh man, April, chicken taco casserole sounds amazing right now. That sounds good. Jeff Glenn says, what we call goulash is a far cry from what the Hungarians call goulash. Theirs has potato instead of noodles and 20 times the paprika. Don't you tell me what. Don't go using the royal we. You don't know the amount of paprika my mom used in her goulash. You don't know that she wasn't using potato noodles. We come from a Hungarian area. There are a lot of hunkos in the Chicago area. We have Hungarian cuisine. We have Bohemian cuisine. We have Polish cuisine. We know the magic of the potato noodle. With that said, you're absolutely right. My mom did not use regular egg noodles, and they were delicious. But how dare you? All right, that'll do it. Folks, if you can, please help out the show. Tip us with a little something. Get us through this week. And then we're going to stop asking. Thank you to the folks who have. We are still a little bit behind the 8 ball from last month. Did make it for the first time. Knock wood. We'll be good. We'll make it through. So anything, you can do the Venmo, you can do the PayPal, you can do the Cash App, you can do all of those kinds of things. We will take whatever you got. Treat me like your bartender, treat me like your car valet, treat me like your barista. Whatever it is that you can do to help these shows continue would be greatly appreciated. And there I've said my spiel. We'll see you back tonight at 9 o'clock. Pugs and Parker proudly present Pillow Talk on the Radio Misfits podcast platform. I am Pugs Moran. You guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. Yes, Kenny, you are dismissed, my man. The best is yet to come. Best is yet to come. I have found a different way. It's a baffling to some.
I can smile a little now. Things are going good. I always had to be on guard. That is understood.
He says it's understood,
Down
y'all.
the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.
He is on a never-ending. I did that wrong.